You need to be certified dead before you close this stream out.
Their name is Ben and Grace. Yes, Thorpe.
I'm not familiar with Grace Thorpe.
Grace Thorpe is a person with a lot of controversies.
Grace is a generational talent.
Ben Thorpe. Oh, we did the Thorpes this year.
Ben Thorpe just threatened to murder me.
It was Ben Thorpe and her dad.
Try it again.
Nobody's subbing. Everybody's against you. Everybody hates you.
Good. We're more attractive. We're more compelling. We're better on the internet than you are.
You look dirty as hell, sir.
I can't stand you, bitch!
You want me to just fucking spiral?
How do you feel about reparations?
This is a psyop. This is a psyop.
You are trash. I have to be on fucking high alert all the fucking time. What is so funny?
Yeah. Now what's a good shirt that would go with this? And then I try to be like a bad bitch, and then and I'm spent.
I have a master's degree in theology. I taught in a Catholic high school for 2 decades. You're sitting there in a bathrobe getting 90 views, talking about sticking pickle jars up your gay boyfriend's asshole for money.
Fuck you. Suck my dick. Bye.
Fuck you!
How come every time you rage out?
You're going down!
Okay.
And when they truly bond is when they're being cruel together.
Are you scared now? Are you shitting your pants? Don't look at me, please. Continue the show.
All right. Take the art. Okay.
It's the 50th anniversary of Paul McCartney's. He made a group called Wings, I think, after the Beatles.
Yes.
I can't talk. Why is it that every time I talk, you have to go and blow your nose?
It's not risk specific to you talking.
It's not wrist specific?
1 minute, self-discipline, holding breath.
Totally crazy.
Buckle up. Get ready to pull the fucking thing down. I understand why people are jumping out of the plane in parachutes right now. Today's flight will not be landing.
Do you know what a layover is?
More airtime, more view time, more chat interaction. You want to get some fans? You feel like you were treated unfairly?
Gratitude is the attitude, bitch.
Does that sound good? Are you excited?
This is a lot of salsa.
It is a lot of sauce.
Oh, God. Despair! We want to go to the top of the top.
You have to be mentally ill.
It's a genre.
It's content gold.
Facts! Woo! Good point.
This is the Ben and Grace show, right?
Yes.
What's up, folks? Welcome back to ThorpeTube and Thorpe TV. Grace and Ben, we're back. Day 2 of no smoking and a little bit of a struggle session in store. Looks like.
Hey, Grace, I would love to do, it's fun to flex, you know what I mean? And I understand that you shouldn't be like, if you're trying to quit something, you shouldn't be fixated on it. But like, since it's a group project at this point,
Yeah.
I don't think that's as much of a problem.
Yeah,
So,
sure. Yeah.
I would like to. We're coming up on 24 hours in.
Yep. 2 p.m.
Let's
today
call
will be
it
24 hours. Okay.
24 hours after quitting smoking. And I understand we have a nicotine supplement regime.
Yes.
Whether you want to like add that as a factor, I do think 24 hours in, a certain percentage of people will have failed. Well, it's not 24 hours, but it's like an hour and a half short of that. But so let's just call it that.
Okay. Let's see here. So I asked ChatGPT, what percentage of smokers fail by the 24-hour mark of not smoking, with and without supplements?
Yes.
So, let's see here. Smoker relapse rates. Okay. So, give me one sec. Let me move us.
I like that it
to
says that's a
sides.
great question.
I know, it's very affirming. I appreciate that.
Robot is like, you know what? Thanks for
You
asking.
are.
You're a lot smarter than most people.
Yeah. Okay. Cold turkey unaided quitting. Studies find that 60 to 70% of quit attempts fail within the first 24 hours. By 48 hours, about 75 to 80% have relapsed.
Well, wait a second. So, is that us?
No.
Okay.
With nicotine replacement therapy, patches, gum,
Whoa, look.
40 to 50% relapse within the first 24 hours.
Wow.
So we're doing better than 50%
Like about
of
half.
people. Yeah. So we're in the upper 50% echelon of society right now. Yeah. Now there we go. Only in 24 hours, folks.
Hey, can you push it? What does it say? Varen Clinton. What does it say? Partial nicotine notes. Partial nicotine
and agonist best early outcomes. I think that's like a medication.
Okay. Yeah, let's keep going. Would you like me to include what you? Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
So
what we're looking ahead
in
for
our
towards.
cohort, we're not really like super elite. We're in the top 50 to 60%.
Correct.
Currently.
So, do you want to look at the cold turkey or the one with nicotine replacement? Or
I'm going to look at our cohort.
okay, so that's this one, nicotine replacement therapy. All right. 24 hours, 40 to 50% relapse. 1 week, 60 to 70%.
So wait. So not the relapse rate. Let's flip it and say, okay, 50 to 60, and then it's 30 to 40, right?
Yeah.
So it's 20% further, and then 10% further. Is that right?
I'm not following. What do you mean 10%? What are you talking about?
20% more. If you make it 24 hours, between you lose almost half. Then you
Yes.
lose a further 20% in the next 6 days, and then by the end of the month, between that and the end of the month, you lose a further 10%.
Yeah. Yep.
So, and long term, is that where it ends at? 20 to 30%? Seems high.
And it's just saying within a month.
Well, how about if you go further out?
Okay,
What's the
let's-
overall? I mean,
Okay, let's see here. Overall success rates of quitting smoking with nicotine
supplement. Yeah.
supplements for 1 day, week, month, year, and permanent.
I would say a year is permanent. No.
Okay, yeah, I could see that. Okay, overall success rates using nicotine supplements.
Only 10 to 15%.
Make it to a year. Yeah. Damius says this should be inspirational. You don't want to end up being one of the plebs that fail at quitting. You want to be the elite.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I do think it would be absolutely just like a crushing blow to my ego if I failed at this. I really do. Personally, I feel like that would be true.
There is a way in which if you set yourself up for a goal and then you fail, like the second time, I'm not saying this is totally true. The second time feels like, you know what I mean? You're really opening the door. It's like second marriages,
Right.
even worse than first marriages.
Percolating
It's like
Fish says
you either kind of do it or you don't.
yeah, I can see that. Because then you've started a cycle where you try something and fail and try something and fail. Although it does say, I've seen it before, that it takes most smokers 5 to 10 attempts to finally quit. But
yeah, but a lot of those, it doesn't mean that 5 times is the trick.
no.
Because a lot of them never do.
Yeah. By the way, guys, my new bestie here. I'm going to go down to the corner store at some point and get a different flavor, but I will be popping one. I had one this morning, so did my dad.
Right, so Zyn isn't really an NRT. I do believe it basically is.
Nicotine replacement treatment?
Therapy.
What else would it be? I mean, it's just like a nicotine packet. We have 3 Zyns left. 2
Well,
after
it's
this
not
one.
really like a medical treatment that's prescribed. It's over the counter. So it's similar, but not technically.
Sure, yeah. Damia says you can try patches too. I'll fund it. Have you ever tried nicotine patches?
I think I did get some. No, gum. I got gum
Nicotine gum.
from our neighbor.
What was it like? As compared to the Zyns.
I mean, gum is different than. I think it's fairly obvious how gum is different than the Zyns.
No, but I mean, like how fast did it take to get the nicotine? Did it taste funny?
Well, I didn't actually really use it as an attempt to quit.
Okay, okay, never mind.
She just
You don't seem to
she was
be-
like, hey, do you want these? I'm getting rid of them or something. And I had a couple. I also have like done Zyns before, but while we were smoking, so I only understand that, like, if you want to call it the genius of the Zyn. When you told me, you were like, oh, I feel the nicotine addiction being fed. And then I'm like,
Right.
oh yeah, okay. It's the first time I've ever put it together.
Right, it was the first time for me too. Amsterdam is back. Good afternoon, Thorpes. I just got out of prison in Israel. See, I told you.
Is that really
One of
true?
our chatters was on that fucking Greta Thunberg flotilla.
Really?
What was that like? Oh my god, you got to tell us. Because
Oh,
I
good for
remember
you.
I
Good
I
for
saw
you.
the news about it, and I was like, I think Amsterdam is on those boats.
How did you know that?
He said it earlier in chat, but I thought he was joking, like a month ago. They're sadists. Were you tortured?
Well, I would think they would treat you with kid gloves.
Well, he is Irish, so.
Well, but I mean, because it's like the Western people.
He says
You know what I
yes.
mean?
Oh, yeah. Like, yeah.
Yes, what?
I asked him if he was tortured. He said yes.
Oh. Raped?
Oh, we're torturing. How did Greta smell?
We've been debating Greta's breast size. Didn't we?
Yeah. Yes. We saw a Photoshop picture and I thought they were like D's or double D's, but I think in reality they're more like B's. Well, Amsterdamaged, we are torturing ourselves, kind of. We're quitting cigarettes. So you're going to provide aid to the Gazans. We are providing humanitarian aid to ourselves.
Yeah.
So welcome back. Nice to see you. I feel like that's weird. Like you were just like in like a life or death
You have?
situation.
Are you sucking on one of these things currently? Okay.
Yeah.
Sleep deprivation. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, that's really cool.
Are you home now? Did they deport you? Anyways. So, Dad, your experience to date this morning, I will say, for myself, I woke up, I did not want a cigarette. Because I never want a cigarette in the morning in the sense that I wake up and I go like...
Yeah, I feel terrible.
coughing,
Yeah.
coughing. So
Yeah.
a cigarette, I know, will just instantly irritate me and make me cough way more. So the actual physical smoke, I don't want. And I had a Zyn when I woke up with the coffee. And I would say didn't really do much for me, but I just didn't really want a cigarette.
I feel pretty bad this morning. I have a pretty bad sore throat, which I guess may be like my throat saying like, hey, where's that irritating smoke I'm used to?
That seems weird to me. A sore throat?
Also, doesn't my voice seem a little lower? No.
I don't notice that.
I think my vocal cords are probably...
Some people say the respiratory system, like, it gets worse before it gets better because your lungs are trying to clear all the toxins.
Yeah.
So, put the Zyn on the bottom of your mouth and angle it to the side. Wow, that's a difference. That means your throat and lungs are pushing out chemicals. Okay, but why would you get a sore throat?
Well, a change, you know.
Oh. Damius gifted 3 subs! Thank you, Damius.
Well, anyways, yeah, it's a weird thing. I do feel like shit generally in the morning, so it's not like surprising, but
if you want any more coffee, let me know, because I've got like 2/3 of a pot left.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So, but I think like I realized that when I was like, oh yeah, it's like 3 days and you have these incredible cravings, because I was in, what do they call it? Jail or prison? Something like they say I'm not in jail, but I was in prison.
Intake?
Jail. I was in jail. But I realized like the reason I had those cravings is because if I was using smoking as a way of like,
hold on, I have to get some water, actually. Hold on, it's burning my throat a little bit. One sec, I'll be right back.
I think low key show the packs. I'm not sure what you mean by that. The Zyn little things, packets, I would call them. We haven't gotten rid of. We didn't get any. I don't think we got any takers on our Craigslist listing. Denise. We could lower the price and try to relist it. Chewing tobacco, and we've tried that before. She doesn't like it.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Sorry. Okay, so you were saying when you quit in jail that it was different.
I realized because cigarettes were kind of like had always been for me a kind of social, I think a mechanism to feel like I had control within a social situation or a family situation, that I could do something for me. It was kind of like a metaphor for like, I need breaks. The only break you seem to be able to give me is one where I'm killing myself, which did fit the logic of the situation, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I will take that. In jail, that was taken away from me, but it was like, obviously it's a very difficult social situation to navigate because you're around a lot of dangerous people in a situation that's not really familiar or like friendly.
Yeah.
And
it makes the whole quitting process like exponentially harder, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, and you have all this kind of like time in a cell, which would also make you, I wanted to feel like you could do something that was a luxury.
Right.
And so I do take it back. I do think that that's probably like the worst form of like overcoming tobacco
yeah
addiction. probably want to make it as nice as possible, distracting as possible, give you plenty of other things you can do to feel like, you know what I mean, you have control.
Yeah.
But if you take away everything basically that you can control and put yourself, I mean, it's like the worst. But anyways.
Well, the reason they don't give you cigarettes in jail is not because they care about your health. It's because you get cigarettes in prison, but in jail they want you to take a plea deal when you go to court.
Yeah, it's just torture. Yeah.
So they're just taking everything that could possibly be a luxury. I do want to respond. I apologize for the hiccups as well. I'm not sure what's going on there. But EB2Baby says, whoever's making them not smoke to get 2K, if you aren't living with them or near them, you are an absolute moron. Yes, there is an element of Scout's honor in this whole thing.
And is that about like you can't monitor it?
Yeah, of course you will have to, take our word for it. But we did list all of our smoking equipment on Craigslist, and we haven't smoked. And I'm happy personally to be rid of it because it was hurting.
Yeah, I mean, I do think like something like that, where it's a major change in your lifestyle, would be very hard to fake, long term.
Yeah. You would see us taking breaks or going off camera or whatever.
It's not as easy as you might think. Like the one thing that I think people who've ever live streamed would say is like, yeah, you can lie, and we would, of course, do like a kind of like we've done in the past, like little smoke and mirrors stuff.
Yeah,
and we would in the future, but you really can't do like big things. Like if I was to say like, oh, I've got a girlfriend who's living with me, but you don't know about her, it'd be tough to pull that off.
Yeah. Especially with the amount of streaming like 8-9 hours a day.
It'd be tough. I'd have to constantly be, oh yeah, my girlfriend. It would just be really hard for us to do. And we're not really dedicated to that. So I think antics are pretty good. We can do antics, but even when we had like a huge incentive legally to not seem like we were near each other because of that idiotic legal thing, people pretty much understood like they're not really in whatever their situation is. It's basically not that.
Yeah, right. Obviously, we're not very good.
They're not.
That.
They're not trying to abide by whatever, and what even like how you abide by it is actually unclear because of the language. But I think that's perfectly fine because that law obviously is unjust. Makes no sense. You can't even ask someone what it means. But also, it was fairly clear, and we had no incentive to let people, to have people in on that. But it was fairly clear that we weren't, in fact, doing our best to abide by what someone may interpret that to mean.
Yeah.
Which is why I went to jail.
But that one actually wasn't on stream, but regardless. I wanted to say, for me, it's weird. Not having a cigarette, I really felt like I lost, like, a treat that I allowed myself to have. Because
This is a funny little... REI6, vapes are vapor, not smoke. It's a lot healthier for your lungs. Reptilian Richard, it's actually vapor, not smoke. Hence the name, retard.
Owned. For me, the interesting part about this is that, a cigarette represented me saying, like, okay, I'm just, similar to what you're saying, but not quite like other people are going to give me a break. Just like, I get to have this little treat. Like if I ate a lot of candy or something, I get to have, and it's just important to me that it's available for me. So having no cigarettes to me was kind of like, well, that seems harsh. But having a Zyn available,
Yeah.
I don't even really like them. They taste pretty bad to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I'll, whatever, famous last words, but I don't think I'll get addicted to Zyns because they're just kind of harsh.
Yeah.
And we were smoking extra light cigarettes, so, like, I'm not really, like, a harsh anything kind of girl. But
Yeah, even if you were to say like, okay, well, we haven't quit nicotine, but we've quit smoking for close to 24 hours. I also don't think we've taken nearly as much nicotine into our bodies. So we're at least tapering nicotine
yeah,
as well.
because
Which-
it's like 2 cigarettes each in one Zyn.
Yeah, is that actually like so? How much ends up in your bloodstream? Because obviously it's a different delivery system. So
I mean, that's what someone in chat said. A cigarette is about 2 to 3 milligrams of nicotine that gets
what does that
delivered.
mean? That it 2 to 3 milligrams get into your bloodstream.
Mm-hmm. And Zyn these pouches are 6 milligrams. So
Get into your bloodstream.
yeah.
So it's like smoking 2 cigarettes over the course, though, of like 20 minutes, right?
Yeah. And,
Okay.
So I've had, by that reckoning, 4 cigarettes, and you've had 2. So.
No, double that.
You had 1 Zyn, didn't you?
Oh,
Today?
today.
Today, yeah. I'm talking about
Okay.
today, yeah. But it's just important to me to say, like, if I want to have a treat, I can have one, and they're in this tin. That's what's important to me psychologically. I don't know if you share that, but it's like
I think you've said that several times now.
I know. I just find it interesting. Like, what was it about cigarettes that I wanted? Because it certainly wasn't the smoke.
Yeah, right. I do think cigarettes, and I wonder if other drugs are really like much more complicated than saying like I like this thing that gives me pleasure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the weird thing about it is that a cigarette, I don't know what to say. It wasn't really very pleasurable. It wasn't a pleasurable experience. Like
That's
after
what I
two-
mean, Grace.
Well, what am I not getting?
The idea of addiction, like, is okay. This thing gives you pleasure. That's why you want to do it. And you're saying, and I'm saying I think it's much more complicated than that. And your point is, well, it didn't give me pleasure. And my point is, yes, that's what I mean.
I see.
It's much more
Yes.
complicated than that. And you're going, I
Right.
don't know what you mean. And
I-
so at that
I-
point, I say like, I don't know what the point is of talking to you.
This is why we had the issue on the No Fugazi podcast. Sometimes my brain it's not working. I do see your point.
So
Olmec has a
'cause people-
criticism. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
People can get addicted to like cutting themselves or vomiting after eating, supposedly. And those are like then again, on the other hand, if you say, it sounds to me like injecting with heroin is close to pure pleasure. So okay, that one seems more like that.
Mm-hmm.
So sounds very pleasant to me the way it was described.
It does, yeah.
So, but on the other hand, you also know that with the pleasure comes the withdrawals, and that's just like intuitive to it.
Yeah.
An artificial high is going to have also a low because it's artificial,
Right.
and so like no one really thinks there's a pill you can take to be happy and remain happy.
Right.
We all kind of know that, even if some drug dealer tells you, like, no, this one actually makes you happy and you remain happy. It's like, well, that doesn't make any sense.
Now, I did see, Kara said, this should be an interesting challenge for these two. As soon as you have a drink, you're screwed. Actually, we had 2 beers last night. I think I had like a beer and a half, and my dad had half a beer. It didn't really intensify my desire. There's two things people have said so far. The first morning is going to be really difficult. I did not experience that. And also when you drink, it's going to be really difficult. I did not experience that either. So maybe that's other people's experience.
It may be that we're like sort of fortunate in the sense like I didn't start smoking until I was 40. And I had I had smoked before, like socially. But I think the reason I didn't become a smoker is because I found cigarette smoke harsh because my lungs are quite sensitive and I'm a sensitive person.
Yeah.
And I imagine that's true of you too.
Mm-hmm.
As is your mother in the sense of being sensitive to environmental things. So we're kind of not smoker material.
No.
So us being smokers was kind of an extreme reaction to a very stressful situation. And it's relatively easy to drop it once like the stress lessens because I don't know. It's like I would also be someone who would have a harder time, let's say, utilizing the services of prostitutes because I'm more sensitive. Other guys can just do that.
Yeah.
But I tend to be more sensitive, and so I can, experience that it's not right more. Anyway, so Grace, I do want to shift gears because it's Sunday, and I don't really care what you think about this, but I have the daily readings, like the mass readings. So can we do that or?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Grace
All
got
right,
the
so
shakes already.
Today is the 28th Sunday in Ordinary Time. The first reading is from the second book of Kings. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Naaman went down and plunged into the Jordan 7 times at the word of Elisha, the man of God. His flesh became again like the flesh of a little child, and he was clean of his leprosy. Naaman returned with his whole retinue to the man of God. On his arrival, he stood before Elisha and said, "Now I know that there is no God in all the earth except in Israel. Please accept a gift from your servant." Elisha replied, "As the Lord lives, whom I serve, I will not take it." And despite Naaman's urging, he still refused. Naaman said, "If you will not accept, please let me, your servant, have 2 mule loads of earth, for I will no longer offer holocaust or sacrifice to any other God except to the Lord." The word of the Lord.
Praise be to God.
No, thanks be to God.
Oh, thanks be to God.
Okay, do you want to talk about each reading separately or just save it?
I'd rather talk about them separately.
Okay. There's 3 readings, basically. Okay. So this is a story about the cleansing of a leper who was a foreigner named Naaman, right?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously leprosy is a metaphor for sin.
Mm-hmm.
Or I think anything, for anything that's like a disease.
Mm-hmm.
So his flesh became again like the flesh of a little child, which is obviously a very hot metaphor, but also...
Which Tanner stage?
But I don't know. So it's like that kind of like freshness and... how would you describe a young child's skin? On the internet. Nubile?
Soft, supple.
Vital, youthful, all those kind of things, right? Which actually is interesting because the discussion we were having this morning, not to make everything about me, but might as well. I very much have the spiritual, kind of a spiritual leprosy, kind of exhaustion.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to be plunged 7 times into some kind of a Jordan and come out fresh again, like a baby, you know?
Right. Right.
Like have that freshness that I haven't had since I think your mother told me that she was pregnant, which was 23 years ago. Since then, I've experienced a kind of leprosy, or so I would say the more apt metaphor is that like Lord of the Rings guy, the Theoden.
Mm-hmm.
I feel just like that guy, like,
Right.
right?
Yes.
And I would like that removed by, I would jump into any river that could remove that any number of times because I want that gone.
If we look at Theoden and
Yeah.
Wormtongue,
You know,
we can
Wormtongue does
see
have a certain resemblance to,
striking similar.
how shall I say, a certain special someone who I thought was on my side.
Who's green in this analogy? Well, we'll leave that up to the viewers to decide. But I just want to see. Hold on 1 second, just to illustrate.
Oh, you know, I just remembered I had a dream last night that we were working at Kentucky Fried Chicken, or I was, or something.
Really?
And then it was like super crazy to work at KFC, and it was like a huge factory, and I was like, but how is this a Kentucky Fried Chicken? They're like, you know what I mean?
What does that mean? What's the underlying?
I think I was watching a video that said like what chains are more popular than others. So I think that's what put KFC in my brain. I don't know. Like it's like just like the idea I think I've had in my mind, like if this doesn't work out, I'm gonna end up in a job like that. I don't really think it's that deep.
Yeah. To illustrate sort of the place you're in, I believe that you would like to have something like this scene happen with Theoden. Remember when he
Let's
gets
watch
healed?
it.
I'm gonna wait. I don't want to get copyright struck. I think it's like this. Right here. That's you.
Yeah.
And I don't know who Gandalf is. Chat?
I would say God.
God. Oh, I forgot that Saruman. Am I Saruman?
I don't know.
What I'm looking for is the restoration part.
Yeah.
Remember he like revivifies? I know
Yes.
who Gandalf is, guys. Okay, so this is what we want right here.
There you go.
There we go.
Boom. Yes.
Boom. That's me.
Yeah. Mid loser.
Okay, so yes, back to the reading. So you
Okay.
feel like you have a spiritual leprosy. Now, I wanted to ask you about the reading. So this leper gets baptized, basically, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that the idea? And then he comes back.
Well,
and he
no,
says,
and not no. He doesn't get baptized. It's the Old Testament.
Oh, okay. But
Obviously,
it's
it
like
would be a
It's an analogy for baptism. Okay, so then he comes back.
I don't know, foreshadowing. Yeah.
And he asks Elijah how he can serve or what he can offer, and Elijah says, "You have nothing to offer." And then he asks.
He offered him a gift.
Now,
Elisha didn't take it.
Why didn't he take the gift? I don't understand.
I think because I think he was saying it really wasn't me that did it. It was the Lord that did it.
Oh, okay. And then
So then he said, "Give me some dirt," because the idea was like, okay, this is like your God's dirt, and we'll put it as the foundation of our sacrifices. So we're sacrificing to you. the God of Israel, who is the true God.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. Yeah, because I was wondering, what does the dirt have to do with it? Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Second reading?
So the second reading is a reading from the second letter of the Apostle Paul to St. Timothy. Beloved, remember Jesus Christ, raised from the dead, a descendant of David. Such is my gospel, for which I am suffering, even to the point of chains, like a criminal. But the word of God is not chained. Therefore, I bear with everything for the sake of those who are chosen, so that they too may obtain the salvation that is in Christ Jesus, together with eternal glory. This saying is trustworthy. If we have died with him, we shall also live with him. If we persevere, we shall also reign with him. But if we deny him, he will deny us. If we are unfaithful, he remains faithful, for he cannot deny himself. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
Okay, so here we have a letter of St. Paul. We've done a lot of talking about him and his letters in terms of your recent debate with David Cooley of the No Fugazi podcast on the nature of marriage. Paul's letters play a big role in any such discussions. And you had mentioned you might want to go over that.
Yes.
Because you had experienced it as a trauma.
That's
and
correct.
you need to process the things that you claim are traumatic so that they no longer, I think, have that, you no longer claim them as traumatic.
Yeah. Yeah.
But why am I saying that? Trauma.
Well, just because it was just a reading from a letter of St. Paul. And
Oh, right,
we were just
right.
connecting
Yes.
St. Paul.
So, I mean, he's saying that he's fine with having quote, bad. I mean, this actually relates to trauma. He's saying in the first part here, I suffer even to the point of chains like a criminal, which is true. I mean, he was treated like a criminal for spreading the gospel. That could be seen as traumatic, but I think he was like, no, happy to do it.
Right.
Because in the Christian understanding, of course, to suffer a little bit in this world for Jesus Christ is like eternal, like the reward is like unbelievably eternal glory.
Right.
And so it's not traumatic, it's a great deal, right?
Right.
You can't be traumatized if you're a Christian by being asked to suffer for being a Christian. Like that one's pretty easy, right? I know
Yes.
your traumas are not like as easy to see that way, but clearly if you suffer literally for being a Christian and you are a Christian, then you would say the more suffering, the better, because like this is the absolute best thing. Like this is the absolute best thing I can do with my time on earth when it's
Right.
given to me
Right.
is to experience suffering for the Christian faith, right? So it's like,
Yes.
I mean, I guess within the limits of what you could handle as a human being, but again, God would never give you more than you can handle.
Yes.
So
Right.
While on the one hand, it might seem dramatic. On the other hand, it's like super easy, right?
In the sense that it's like a good deal. Like it's not.
It's just prudent. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, like I got no problem with this. What's the trauma? So like sometimes you could say to yourself like, okay, Donald Trump is like 79 years old.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. So he's probably not long for this world because very few people his age are as big as he is. And I'm not saying he's really fat, but like he seems like someone who is likely to die sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
But also just like the numbers are not, you know. If you were to guess would Donald Trump die of natural causes? I would guess he's got 5 years or so. Maybe 10?
Yeah. I would say 5.
He doesn't seem like a long lasting type of guy.
He's got a lot of stress, high intensity personality, overweight, tall. Yeah.
Right.
I don't see it. I don't see him living to 100.
Right. Well, yeah, right. If you're putting your money on it, I would say like 5 years he would die. Maybe a little longer. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would say whatever the odds are for someone who is his age, I would reduce it a little bit because of the extra weight. And I just think he's a very intense person. And then you add the height and being male. Anyway, so my point is, people would say like, oh, so why doesn't he just, on one of these meetings with Benjamin Netanyahu, just do the right thing and smack him down publicly, you know, and just do it. Just bring that guy to his knees or have him show, you know, to the point of like, even it being physical, you know, why not? Why not be like this guy who got to this place to do this thing, which was to be decisive in U.S. and human history. And if they kill you subsequently, who cares?
Right. That's a good point.
But they really can't, you know, but like, and you could at least at long last, like not be held to account for all the blood on your hands for allowing this genocide to take place. Certainly going to go better for you if you do that.
True.
I mean, that's assuming he knows somewhere deep down that that would be the right thing to do, which I think he does.
Yeah, I buy that. I think he does.
You know, but he's just like a cynical person who's so used to being cynical. But I don't really think he thinks like a Christian should think. I don't really think he believes in it.
Because he's not saying like, okay, I'm nearing the end of my life. If I do something that's really good, I'll get rewarded. And who cares? Like I
don't think he
anyways.
believes really in Christianity very much. I think he has a kind of paganistic view of the Christian God. He's like the early Roman emperors, like Constantine, were tolerant of Christianity, but they really only understood it as like a kind of, you know, this God among other gods seems to bring me luck on the battlefield kind of thing. It's not really like much of an understanding of the gospel, but or like, you know, I saw a vision in the sky kind of thing, not really having any understanding. I think Trump is like that.
Yeah.
So whatever, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, by the logic of Christianity, he's going to have a lot to account for. For having, and God's not going to say, well, that was a slick political move. Like you get the W for being kind of like, you know, for continuing to stay in power by paying off the right people. God's going to say, of course, like, did you do right in your position? Did you defend the poor and speak the truth? And I think that was going to be a tough conversation.
Yeah.
Though I have no idea of, but you know what I mean? Like it would go better if he definitively just said like, fuck it. I'm just going to speak. I mean, obviously, right? It's like, obviously, spend a little time looking into this and you will see that, like, obviously it's going to go better for you if you believe in God at all, which we all do, for you to speak the truth to this man who's just a man who's hated by the entire world and who you're in a position to be able to call out definitively, and the cameras will stay on and whatever, right?
Yeah.
Be awesome.
That's an interesting thing that you told me, because I remember I would have this question for you, like, okay, so if you can just say you're sorry at the end of your life, if you really mean it, then you'll be forgiven and you'll go to heaven. Like, that's kind of the deal. It's potentially what you could do.
Yeah.
If you just really genuinely say, like, I am so sorry, right? For everything bad that I've done, and be really honest about it.
Yes, definitely.
But I was like, well, why wouldn't you kind of like so everybody could go to heaven right before they die? Like, if they die of a natural cause and they're on their deathbed, they
Well,
could
you're
just...
assuming they have time enough to like make that act, but yeah.
Right, but assuming that, because a lot of people do die naturally and they just like, they're on their deathbed.
Most people have a few minutes before they go, yeah.
And I was like, well, why doesn't everybody do that? Like, even just like, what do you call it? Pascal's wager, like, even if God doesn't exist or whatever, Christianity is wrong, at least do it.
Yeah, I understand that. A lot of people ask this question, yes.
Most people don't do that. These old people who are in this position, they don't do it.
No, if you talk to priests, they will tell you, I can see there's ways in which they know they're wrong. They're offered the opportunity to be reconciled, let's say with family members, and they just die obstinately. It's very rare that you have a real change.
Right.
Very rare.
It's just an interesting thing about, I mean, that is the fall. And so I guess my point is, like, Trump is kind of in that
It's not
place.
that you could say it's interesting on first glance, because you'd say like, well, I mean, first of all, Grace, it can't be that you just like read off a piece of paper. It has to be sincere, obviously.
I understand that, yeah.
So if you have a sincere change of heart, why would you can't plan to have a change of heart. Right?
Yes, right. You can't plan it. You can't be an asshole your whole life and then say, okay, on my deathbed, I will have a change of heart.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a change of heart.
But I'm saying even
that would be just following through on a plan.
I agree, and that wouldn't be...
But really what it comes down to, Grace, is like, why does anyone ever do something that is evil? Because here's your logic. You're like, well, we'd all like to murder some people and then say we're sorry. Okay, but like that's true. But like it doesn't, you're not getting away with something by doing evil. That'd be like saying, like, you know, one version of a marriage is to be faithful to your wife. And that's okay, but a better version is being faithful to your wife and also having sex with other women on the side and never getting caught. It's, I mean, it's actually not true. It's not a better version of a marriage. It's a worse, it's like fundamentally not even a marriage.
Right.
You're not like winning by doing evil.
Right.
That's what you're failing to see.
No, that's not the point I'm making. I'm not saying that like the people on their deathbeds in the example I'm giving are winning by doing evil their whole lives and then at the last seconds changing their mind. I'm saying they have an opportunity to change their mind, and like everything's
Well, they
writing
always
on
have
it.
that opportunity.
I guess that's true. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they always have that opportunity throughout their whole
So
life.
you're saying like well, but for certain people, it's fairly clear that they are going to meet their maker relatively soon, and why doesn't that wake them up and at least make them say like, all right, I want to improve my odds, because on some level they know they are going to be held to account
Exactly.
by someone they can't manipulate
Mm-hmm.
and who knows everything they've done and is you can't play games with.
Yeah.
But that's what they've been doing their whole lives.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get
Is
what you're saying.
thinking they can outwit God, or and why they do that is, I mean, the fundamental problem here is that sin and evil are irrational. They're not just like bad but fun. They're
Yeah.
irrational.
Right.
It is irrational that a human being would engage in behaviors and thoughts that decrease his humanity.
Right. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense. No sin ever makes sense. If it makes sense, then it's really not a sin,
Yeah, that's true. Right.
So
But then why are you questioning why Trump wouldn't like call out Netanyahu when he hasn't done anything? He hasn't really done, something.
it's because
noble
I
like
would do that. I would do that. But then again, that's why I'm sitting here, with like double digits on YouTube.
Damn.
Because you have to do these other things
I see what you're saying.
to succeed. I could have been, I don't know whether people think I could have been more successful in life if I had behaved in the way Trump behaves. I think I'm fairly smart, charismatic. Apparently I have a small dick, but it's not a major problem.
Shout out to Tropic.
Thanks for pointing that out.
Punk
you know.
Rock, that's actually not what I'm saying. I'm saying when people are faced with their mortal demise, most people don't want to
No, they
repent.
don't. Like, it is. I have known priests who say like it's just amazing how like that is that's fake news that people do that. They repent on their deathbed. I'm not there. They wouldn't say it never happens, but they would say like it's extremely rare.
Right.
There was to give like the mafia guys their due. There was a mafia guy in Italy, very high up, who was just like riding in his car, I assume like a Ferrari or whatever,
Yeah.
and had been in the mafia a long time, and was just listening to the radio. And I think it was Pope St. John Paul II, who is, because he is also the Bishop of Rome, so he is also a local, like he is that bishop of basically Italy, or the Archbishop of Italy. He was talking about the mafia and saying like, cut it out, it's wrong, you're going to go to hell.
Yeah.
And the guy actually just was like, all right, I don't want to do this mafia thing anymore. And he
That was it.
and he stopped doing the mafia thing, and he attributed it to that sermon. So it's a little bit like our like smoking thing. I'm not saying that he wasn't aware that the mafia stuff is not an organized crime is a good thing, but it just sort of struck him. And whatever, he was just at a place in his life, and the Holy Spirit was there, and he was a Catholic, and he was just like, okay, that's a good point. What the fuck am I doing? What am I doing?
Yeah.
This is stupid.
Yeah.
So how that happens is sort of a mystery, but it's not really dependent on necessarily, like, it's not the story he was in this terrible crash and he came to see his mortality, and as he's just driving down the road going like, you know what? Suddenly that makes a lot of sense, and obviously this is a nice guy who's going to heaven. Like, I want to be on his team.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's interesting. Politicians it's rare that a politician ever has any kind of a like come to God moment like that.
Right. Right.
But that's why Jesus liked criminals, I think, because they're kind of like practical,
Yeah.
And saints are also like criminals in the sense they don't fucking care. They just want to get to heaven by hook or by crook. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So saints have more in common with criminals than they do with politicians. I think that would be true. I think that the church would say, yes, that's true. And Jesus would say, yes, that's true.
Criminals
Because
and
criminals
saints,
don't care. You know what I mean? They're just like,
I can see what
well,
you're
whatever.
saying, yeah.
Let's unload this cocaine and make some money off of it. I don't want to sit here with this cocaine and go down with the ship. Like, you know what I mean? Let's
Right.
just be practical because I want to get something out of this. Jesus once did actually compare. He compared like churchy people with people in business. And he was like, the business people will actually just like kind of like make it happen. You just sit around thinking it's great that you say you want to make it happen and you fucking suck. I don't give a shit about your piousness. Like, make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't care about you looking like whatever. And that's always been true. If you ever want to not get something done, try going to Christians to get it done. They won't get it done. They're all about, oh, you know what I mean? Whereas criminals will be like, okay.
But quick question though, politicians, they are like criminals.
Like, no
in the
offense
sense
to
that they-
Amsterdamaged, but like, if you had a group of criminals that could make money off smuggling stuff into Gaza, they're going to get the stuff into Gaza. Whereas a kind of pious, like,
flotilla.
Greta Thunberg, like, open flotilla, which is trying to do a different thing.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that the Israelis are going to, like, kind of, like, gently arrest them and sort of subtly torture them and then let them go. But you're not going to get the shit into Gaza, which isn't the point, obviously. But if your point was to get shit into Gaza, you don't want a bunch of pious humanitarians. You want criminals.
Yeah.
Who are probably smuggling stuff into Gaza, but, right? We don't know about it because they're good at it.
They're doing a good job, yeah.
I mean, to be honest, the starvation numbers are not what they predicted. So, like, somehow shit's getting in there. And it's not the Israelis being nice, quietly being like, hey, guys, you know what? Here's a bunch of food.
Right.
We're just trying to be hard asses, but, like, really, we're nice. That's not it.
Mm-mm.
I just think Arabs make for good smugglers,
Yeah.
But I don't think it's the IDF that's getting, like, you know what I mean? Like, corrupt. Like, the border agents in America, they're all in with the narcos, right? So it's like, I'll get my government border agent paycheck and then the narco supplement of it. And I enforce selectively.
Yeah.
I think that's how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we need white people down there. Don't hire Mexicans to protect you against Mexicans. Anyways, this is getting
not
racial.
coming in here. Okay, so back to the
I'm
reading.
trying. I don't know how they get by me. I followed the
very good.
procedure perfectamente. I didn't see that huge tunnel. you know? It's like, I get it. It looks like a big tunnel. I didn't see it. But next time, definitivamente, I'll stop them. Okay.
All right. Gospel reading?
Okay, so then if we die with him, if we persevere, obviously, so we're rewarded for our suffering on behalf of Christ. Now, you can get into this thing which has been more recently explored in the church. It's called I think it's called white martyrdom. No. Yes. Well, no, it's not called white martyrdom. But the idea is, yes, martyrdom is being killed explicitly for being Christian or being a Catholic.
Yeah.
But what about someone who dies speaking the truth generally without it necessarily being that they're specific sentences like you were killed for being a Catholic. Isn't that basically the same in the sense that to defend the truth is to defend Christ? And that is true. So
non-bloody martyrdom, is that what you're talking about?
that's white martyrdom, which would be like having your life ruined for being a Catholic, but it still would be like for being a Catholic or being for your religious beliefs. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But if you like were to speak out, like if you were, let's say, a Christian, a Catholic reporter in Palestine who was speaking out against the genocide and documenting that, and you were killed by the IDF, let's say that happens, which I'm not saying necessarily does.
Theoretically.
You were specifically targeted by the IDF. Would you be a martyr?
Right, because you
Because you're
technically
not
didn't
really,
die.
they're not really killing you for being a Catholic per se,
Right.
but you're a Catholic who's being martyred for doing something which a Catholic should do. Are you a
Right.
martyr, or are you, you know what I mean? Is that the same as being a priest who is specifically targeted for being a priest and is shot and killed while performing mass after being warned that they were going to do that as a way of specifically targeting Catholicism?
Right.
Anyways, obviously, whether that's called martyrdom or not, obviously God
Will reward you?
approves of that.
Yes.
It will reward you. And also, even if you're not explicitly a Catholic, he will reward someone, obviously, who defends love or truth or beauty or whatever.
Right.
So, anyways. All right. Then we have the gospel. But I need to prepare for the gospel reading
How so?
by cleansing myself in the rivers of the bathroom toilet.
Oh, I see.
Healing.
Restoring. Cleansing.
So I'll be right back.
Yeah. Now, you might be wondering why my coughing is getting worse. And I think that's pretty typical, that coughing makes it worse. I'm sorry, the coughing gets worse before it gets better. It's so bad. So happy that it's being healed. I also have some leftover breakfast that I made for my dad. And I need to eat that at some point. He didn't want all of it. I don't usually eat breakfast, but it is 2 p.m., so. Yeah, the body's trying to remove the damage. Also, I know that I said I was going to fix the bike today, but it is Sunday, and the bike shop is closed. So, it's also stormy outside and raining, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get over there. Maybe if the rain clears up a little bit. Wouldn't mind going to the storage unit, but I don't even have an umbrella, which is kind of stupid, but whatever. Streaming in the rain is not a great idea. How you guys doing? It's pretty good. My dad was driving me up the wall this morning. I don't know why. He just, like, I'm very sympathetic because he's tired. And I understand why, but he seemed out of it. And I was like, okay, so I'm thinking we do this, then this. And he's like, I can't answer that question. And I was like, I got very irritable. But I just told him I was irritable. And then he was like, why don't we just stream this? And I was like, yeah, okay. What is something you can do today that will help you accomplish a goal? Mom, I could make a DMV appointment, get a real ID. Obviously, I could go downstairs and look at some stuff. Just literally right there. There's a nor'easter coming through. It's going to be very windy and rainy for a while. I could order an umbrella. I should probably research how my dad can switch the titles of the cars into my name, because I would like to drive at some point again. Oh, yeah. I'm not hoarding the Zins.
As soon as I walk into that room,
Yeah.
I just caught a whiff of, like, you know, old cigarette.
Oh, yeah?
I was like, oh.
Did that make you crave?
Yeah, usually.
5 subs to make an appointment and research titles. Alright, thank you, Damius. I'll keep that in mind. This is not really, like, my personal stream, so I won't do it right now, but when I do a personal stream, that'll be on my list. Welcome back.
Thank you. I went to the waters and I dunked.
Well, you didn't dunk so much as you dunked something in. Am I right?
There was dunking. Cleansing. You know, it's funny with addiction. I just want to say this, then we'll get to the gospel reading and then move on. But it's funny with addiction, because obviously that's like kind of what we're thinking about here. Well, what's called addiction, like, isn't really called that. Like, say you have a relationship that's dysfunctional with what you think is your wife or whatever, girlfriend. No one will talk about that in terms of an addiction.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's essentially the same thing. And it may take you a while to realize, like, to go from, like, I think this really makes sense and I love you, to you need to go away and never, like, kind of, like, we need to part ways permanently. But I do think it's similar.
Well,
But you could say, well, courtship can be a positive thing, whereas, you know, doing drugs or drinking, but that's not really true. Drinking can be a positive thing in moderation. And I think most people who are involved in relationships that are, like, kind of unhealthy from the beginning, they know it. They're just living in a kind of fantasy world.
Would you say that was true of you with my mother?
Oh, with that, I wasn't even living in a fantasy world. I was just like, okay, I guess I should do this because, you know, well, we have a kid and a kid needs 2 parents, and that kind of stuff, which is not true. But I also
sometimes...
like, I was also in a job in which they really wanted me to, you know, so I had all kinds of motivations other than, I never had the core motivation. I never even really would say that I never even liked your mother, let alone, like, you know, had romantic feelings.
I would say people do, like, they've started to describe some relationships in terms of addiction, though, like codependent, meaning like you both give each other highs and lows.
But what I'm saying is, as 2 people who are, like, would largely be viewed as trying to quit smoking.
Yeah.
I think, like, the actual experience of it is very different from what it just is psychologically portrayed as, which is like, oh my God, I want that, but I shouldn't. You know what I mean? Like, maybe when I've like said, like, I can't eat or something, I'm fasting.
Yeah.
You know, I know that kind of hunger where you're just like, oh, I'm so hungry.
Yeah.
And then it kind of goes away or whatever. And then, but there's like huge pangs of hunger, especially if it's for like a test or something where you're like, it's not really about health, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just fundamentally different. I think it's like a breakup with it's like a relationship that you're like breaking up because it just doesn't work for you. And maybe it used to. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah,
It was like
because if we both really wanted to,
it's like
continue
having
this
an affair, really. Just saying with non-smoking and saying like, actually, I like her better than you.
Yeah,
You know, we're having an affair with patches.
Mm-hmm.
Or what are these things? Packets. Snooze. I don't know what
Nicotine
it's called.
pouches.
Pouches. And we're just kind of like, hey, cigarettes, you're kind of whores. You know what I mean? You're kind of dirty.
Yeah.
And this relationship is kind of killing me. So I'm going to fuck pouches for a while, but maybe I'll become celibate eventually. But like, this relationship is over. So it's not really like, it's not like the way it's portrayed is like this, like, oh no, if I taste it, I will go back. It's kind of like you're already lost if that's how you see it.
I can see that. Yeah.
Like it's this wonderful pleasure that I just need to pull away from. It's like you need to, I think if you see it as more just like, well, she's a dirty whore and I know what it's like to have to deal with her bullshit just to nut. Like I'll nut in someone else.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
And then it's like just not that interesting.
Because if we both,
but of course,
really...
if it's like, well, I have to nut in her, or I have to be like someone who doesn't nut at all, then it might seem more compelling. But then you're just stupid because, you know what I mean? That's two things being packaged in one.
Yeah.
And you're kind of punishing. I mean, I'm not saying like about sexual morality, but I'm just saying like, I think that's why a lot of guys prefer to break up by having, like, and women too, like a relationship already in place that the person finds out about. It's not really like, I cheated on you. It's more just like, yeah, I only wanted to get away from you, not away from sex or a sexual relationship or whatever that provides. So
Right.
it's a lot easier just to like shift than to completely not have something that was there, which is true.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can do it in a moral way, fine. I don't know why you can't just be open about it. So
but if both of us,
let's talk to that tobacco and say, listen, whore, you're not doing it for me. Sure.
If it was doing something for us and we both really wanted to smoke a cigarette, we would. Like, we're not. It's
if we're just like passionately in love with smoking, and it really is just super pleasurable to have smoke around us, which maybe for some people it is, and it's just like the greatest joy we have in life, which I think means you're kind of a loser, and you probably don't have really good relationships. You know?
Yeah.
Because, well, I mean, I do think it's fun to think about. I don't think Ruby is going to stop smoking, and I don't think your mother's going to stop smoking, even though she's living around young children.
I do.
And that's obviously not good for them, both as an example and like literally. So I don't think they're going to do it because it's not so much they don't have the willpower. Do you know what I mean? I think someone with almost no willpower can easily stop doing something damaging to them if they love something more than that. It's not the lack or presence of willpower. It is the lack or presence of something better.
Yes,
that
that's
they
my
see
point.
as like a better mixture. Not smoking plus having more energy to be with you, like, you know, like for us to like perform together, plus not alienating our landlord, plus saving money is a better deal. Why would it be difficult to take the better deal? Why would it be difficult?
Yeah.
If you believe in it, if you believe, it really has to do with the mind. It's not the will. The will plays a minor role in overcoming, like reminding yourself when you have an urge that it's not good for you.
Yeah.
But if your mind is set on like, I really love this, but I shouldn't, the will can't overcome that.
Right.
The intellect is the base of our actions.
Mhm.
That's why these Zionists, because they take for granted that what they're doing makes sense, can't make sense. It just doesn't make sense.
If you're watching us saying, "Oh, they're just sitting there resisting an incredible urge and desire for a cigarette," that's not what we're doing. I'm not experiencing that.
No.
Because
neither.
like I 90% don't even want to do that, and 10% I'm used to it. It's habitual. It calms me down. Whatever. But that 10% is 8% of that is taken care of by the Zin, and so it's like 2%.
And that's why I think when
willpower.
people say I'm going to quit and then they're like, "Oh, I went back to it." I just think they didn't actually really want tobacco or smoking out of their lives.
Yeah.
They wanted to virtue signal or something. Do you know what I mean? Or like
Yeah.
fat people. I understand that they're saying, like, on some level I could see that being slim, but like you don't really, you want to be fat because I think it works for you in some way.
Yeah, it's really-
You're comfortable acting like a victim in a way that like the fat is a kind of manifestation of your pleading for victimhood, even though most people don't see it that way. Some people do.
It's interesting that it's really more about a deal. If I give this up, do I get more than if I don't give this up? And so if you can't convince yourself of that deal, like with Ruby, if she's taking fentanyl and she says, "Okay, if I quit, I get XYZ, but if I don't quit, I get XYZZZ, like I get more if I don't quit." She could say she's
Right.
going to quit. But the deal, it's like
No,
mental.
you know what the
deal
problem is?
better if she doesn't
You know what the
quit.
problem is with people who say like what I'm saying like can't be true? They say like, well, these people know that being overweight is not good for you. But the problem is that does not pay the bills for people as much as you'd think. People don't really care a lot of times that something is going to hurt their body and their health. They don't care as much as we assume they do.
Yeah, right. That's true.
There are way higher. A lot of people, I think, really just want sympathy for their story that they're a victim more than they care about living or dying.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Right.
Because at the core of Zionism is this idea, like there is one big thing, like having a nation will make us safer. Well, it obviously doesn't make you safer.
Mm-hmm. Right.
There's no conceivable way in which this is making you safer, has ever made you safer, will ever make you safer than the previous strategy, which was being a minority population within the majority population. It's just doesn't work that way and isn't working that way and never has worked that way.
Right.
I think since the end of World War II, the least safe place to be for Jews is the state of Israel. And not only is it relatively unsafe for them and increasingly unsafe for them, but it makes all Jews less safe and increasingly so.
Yeah.
So like the idea here that this is about safety because, Holocaust, it's just, when are you going to do the math? It's not going to get better.
Yeah.
Being constantly at war, these wars are never going to end. And they're going to cost more and more and more. And like I get the mentality, well, once we get rid of all the Palestinians, okay, but even that, when you've done that, hasn't worked. They just attack from across the border that you've pushed them to. So then it goes down to like, we have to kill all Palestinians who exist down to the last one. And you're never going to be able to do that, even if you wanted to. Like the human, like no one's going to allow you to do that.
Right.
No one's going to support that because that's literally what you claim to be a victim of. And it's outrageous. I need
Of
a
course.
cup of some sort.
A spittoon? Yeah, sure. 1 sec.
Thank you. I am high as a kite. I don't think I was ever addicted to nicotine because these pouches are making me high as a kite. Like I am dizzy. Okay, so the gospel reading, well, I guess I'll wait for Grace. The final reading, today's mass readings, which I'm super happy to do a little bit to fulfill my obligation to worship the Lord. Is the gospel reading, which picks up on the story of Naaman, of course. I am really tweaking. Oh, it's like smoking a cigarette on an empty stomach. We good?
Yeah. All right, I'm back. I'm ready.
All right, so reading the gospel here. As Jesus continued from the gospel according the gospel of St. Luke. What do you say here? I forget.
Praise to our Lord Jesus Christ.
No, that's the end of it. As Jesus continued his journey to Jerusalem, he traveled through Samaria and Galilee. As he was entering a village, 10 lepers met him. They stood at a distance from him and raised their voices, saying, "Jesus, Master, have pity on us." And when he saw them, he said, "Go show yourselves to the priests." As they were going, they were cleansed. And one of them, realizing he had been healed, returned, glorifying God in a loud voice. And he fell at the feet of Jesus and thanked him. He was a Samaritan. Jesus said in reply, 10 were cleansed, were they not? Where are the other 9? Has none but this foreigner returned to give thanks to God? Then he said to him, "Stand up and go. Your faith has saved you." Interesting story. Okay, so the Samaritans were like kind of the rejected cousins of the Jews.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that?
Yeah, I
They're related to the Jews, but they were not. They were considered like, the discarded people, not part of the chosen people. So they're generally looked down upon. So Jesus meets 10 lepers, cleanses them all, and only one returns who was not. You assume a lot of the other ones were Jews, right? Were the people Jesus was sent to save.
Right.
So the one he, who was an outsider comes back and gives glory to God. And was grateful. And Jesus, it's interesting, stand up and go, your faith has saved you. Of course, not from leprosy, but from the much greater evil of sin and its ramifications. So, though I don't think he took back the 9 leprosy, but like if they had all died, that one goes to heaven.
Yes. I actually thought the story was implying that he did take the healing away from the other lepers, but it works spiritually.
So, what does that tell us? it tells us that we should be, it tells us that we should be, both of these stories tell us that God really wants us to be grateful to him and have a relationship with him. And that's more important to him than a lot of other things. And I just think that's generally true. You kind of understand, just as a human being, if you help 10 people, 9 of whom are in your family and 1 of whom is a stranger, and only the stranger comes back and thanks you for helping him and praises God.
Yeah.
You're going to like that person a lot more than the 9 people who did not show gratitude.
Of course, yeah.
And worship the God that they supposedly worship.
Right.
When a miracle has occurred. Nature
course,
is defied. Yeah. Leprosy is not a curable disease, especially not like that. So I don't have any preaching to do on that.
Just
do you have
seems
any
pretty
reflections?
simple. My reflection is that it's always easier than I think. When I pray, I generally say that I'm sorry for things and ask for things, but I'm not very grateful a lot of the time. So that's kind of something I should do more of. Would make sense.
Well, maybe you can tie it in. We can just keep it like in our minds, this story, for at least, a couple of hours would be good. That's the whole idea, is like you don't necessarily have to get it right away, but it just kind of creates a theme for the week, the Sunday readings.
Yeah.
And we could all obviously be much more grateful explicitly to our Lord, who gives us the miracle of even existence, which is technically a miracle, and gives us the grace to be freed from sin, which is also a miracle in the sense we can't do it ourselves.
Right.
And from the punishment of sin, and yet we are largely ungrateful. And I'm not saying that to make you feel bad or whatever, but
yeah, I don't think you are. It's just true.
We should be hard on ourselves for not being grateful, but also understand it's kind of part of the fall is that we're assholes.
Yeah. It's funny because being grateful is like, it's really not asking anything of you, just to say thank you. And yet it is one of the most difficult things for us to do. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like you have to do something special. You're just saying thanks for a gift.
I want to pick up on something Virginia's saying here. Since she did a whole paragraph. Benjamin, I wouldn't call it beautiful. I don't know what you mean by beautiful.
She's talking to someone else in chat, by the way. She's talking.
Oh, there's a different Benjamin?
Yeah, Lovingworst.
Oh, okay.
They're talking about Israel and Palestine, the landscape.
Oh, okay. That's not a beautiful landscape in the typical sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just saying I'm kind of high as a kite, Grace. I don't think that I was actually taking a lot of nicotine into my bloodstream when I was smoking.
No, I don't think. I agree with you. When I take these, I feel like.
Yeah, I'm like.
It's like it's nicotine.
It's a feeling when I was much younger, when I would smoke occasionally, like on an empty stomach, and I would get kind of dizzy.
Yeah.
It's not really a very pleasant high in my experience. But it's funny that I didn't have this experience when I smoked. I wasn't often like,
me neither.
Yikes.
No, unless I didn't smoke for like 10 hours and then had one. So
anyways. But I do want to talk about one thing with you, and then if you want to do the debate review or not, whatever, that's fine. Especially actually because the delivery system here is much slower and more like slow release.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. Maybe it's just the nature of the tobacco we were smoking, or the like extra light filters that we just weren't getting delivered like nicotine hits.
So then what were we smoking for?
We were just getting a lot of smoke.
Well, that's pretty retarded.
Meh.
That's really quite stupid.
I mean, I'm sure there was some, but this is just too much. I'm gonna take a break from it.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go to the corner store sometime today
I want
'cause
to
I only
puke.
have one left.
You know what I mean? I feel like I want to puke.
Yeah. And I'll get the 3 milligram ones, which will be less.
Maybe it's the stuff I'm drinking that's making me nauseous, but it's also like making me dizzy. So, anyways,
When you drink it, it makes you nauseous for sure. I would spit. I spit for the first like 10 minutes that it's in my mouth, and then it's good. Yes, I will stream, of course, the Zyn choice, the Zyn purchases, Damius. Yes, it's a crucial part of our storyline here. Okay, so what do you want to touch on? Is it what we were talking about earlier this morning? Because I want to talk about that.
yes. So
Okay.
I have found that like this thing of like, let's stop smoking cigarettes, which I think we it's a group effort in the sense that I think I said, let's do this. You're like, okay, let's do this, which is
Yeah.
easy to say if
Yep.
you just see some statistics, which you vaguely know are true. But like
Yeah.
just kind of like seeing it like, okay, here's these stats. I don't think it's Hasbara.
Yeah.
Like that is stupid to engage in a behavior which is that has those kind of stats attached to it.
Yeah.
But then also secondly, having the experience we had on stream, which I think was a kind of beautiful experience of saying, well, we both are kind of close to saying, let's just have one cigarette. And our patron, by using money and also he could have said like, all right, yeah, you can have one. But he said like, no, but you can have Zyn pouches. We did, as a group, I would say, kind of dodge the bullet. And we've now made it, I think, over 24 hours, which is the most dangerous time, right? So like doing what we're doing with the pouches, only about half people make it this far.
Yep.
So kudos.
Absolutely. Well done so far.
And I feel strengthened to continue, even though I feel like shit. But it's not because I don't think smoking would help it at this point. So I think it would just make me feel more like shit. So I think I'm pretty solid. I just want to breathe air, drink water, and maybe go to take a nap or something. I'm not doing that well. But anyways,
I just wanted
thank
to
you,
respond.
Benjamin.
Con Shonery said, what caused you to decide to quit? What was the impetus? It's on Joe Shabatoni's channel. We literally just looked up the statistics on getting lung cancer if you smoke.
To me, I had like kind of jumbled the stats in my head. It is true that only a minority of smokers die of lung cancer,
Yeah.
but it is a sizable minority,
Yeah.
like 15 to 30% of
Mhm.
people who were doing, at least what I was in my state
Yeah.
of having smoked for 14 years. But
Yep.
you too, if you continued.
If I continued, yeah.
Even more so because you started much younger, but like I think it's
Mhm.
effectively similar. Are going to get lung cancer, which is extremely dangerous, and it is pretty much what causes lung cancer. So
Yeah. Right. And it's like lung cancer. Like I know all cancer is bad, but like lung cancer is brutal. So we just looked at anyways, to answer your question, we just looked at that and said like,
not
oh,
to
that's
judge
pretty
people
stupid.
who have that. I'm not about judging people, but for us, it's stupid because there's really not that much of an upside.
Yeah.
And like, so why don't we stop doing this? Like, and the fact that I didn't start smoking until I'm 40 indicates that I'm not really that invested. And then we both started smoking when things got very stressful in our lives, and they're getting less stressful. But anyways, what I want to say is that my deeper problem, which smoking is attached to, is clearly that I'm totally exhausted from my life. And I think that's pretty easy to see why. Because about 23 years ago, until this day, I went from not having this situation to having this situation. And the situation that I've been subjected to was having one and then more, but always at least one person who is saying, I would like to have a relationship of mutual support with you that I'm having trouble with.
Yeah.
But that is definitely a good investment that will pay off for you.
Yeah.
And 23 years is a long time to be hanging in on something like that without it being paid off. So 23 years of that being quite exhausted is, I don't think, hard to understand. It's really what's hard to understand is how I haven't just given up the ghost. Like, I am bone tired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I see it.
Because there was something wrong with it. And even when it shifted from you being that person, I mean, from your mother being that person to you being that person, I think there was enough similar kind of a mentality. Even though I do think, like, you can make the offer, like, there's more of a payoff, like, in the sense, like, I think I can definitely envision this working, whereas with her, I was never interested in the first place. But do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
Like, I'd love to stream with
potential.
you and, you know, have a relatively simple life together where I do intellectual stuff, you do IRL stuff, we share pool of resources and whatever. But there's some, like, I think that's definitely doable.
Yeah, I agree.
And I see you as an equal to be able to do that, if not even like more able to do that than me inherently. But what I'm saying is there has been this way in which you say kind of like, well, I know I'm not doing this and I feel terrible about this, but hang on. And also, like, you have to hang on.
Yeah.
In both cases, it's not really any option otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
And it will pay off. And I think I would like to fundamentally change that structure to allow more, because I think that's wrong to do to someone.
I would like to change that structure too, but I'm not sure that I quite know how.
I don't know that I would say that's abusive or whatever, but like, I do think it's not a long-term thing. It will wear someone out. I am worn out, and I don't see what the point is of me being worn out. Hold on a second. I got really hot.
Oh. Somebody said take an MBTI test. We already have. I'm an ENTP. He's an INTJ.
I'm kind of inspired by the smoking thing to say, like, actually, you know, maybe this could be quicker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Than we've heretofore seen it as. And like, I'm not like, things are in some sense, there's a lot more healthiness within this, but I don't think it's about necessarily like space, like literal space. I don't think that really matters. In much the same way, it's not about like somehow getting cigarettes away from you.
Yeah, it's about whether
you
don't want to do them anymore. Doesn't matter. Like it's very minorly matters whether you have them with you or not, or you can just go to the corner store or whatever.
Yeah, it's a spiritual thing, not a physical thing. Though the physical thing, there is some way in which you can test it. It's like measurable. Like, we haven't smoked in 24 hours. I just kind of like that.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. I like it too.
Would like to have. I wonder if there's something similar that we can do after 23 years of this thing, whether we can quit it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then say like, okay, it's been 24 hours since this thing occurred. Although it's harder to define because it's like this. I like, you know what I mean? It's this idea of an investment that isn't currently paying off.
Yeah.
So,
And I think you're saying, like, if we could just quit cigarettes. Like, I understand we're using nicotine pouches, guys, but, like, apart from that, if we can just quit it instead of tapering, maybe we can just quit something else, which is...
yeah, so, like, I think that you have increasingly seen, like, the storage unit as a kind of metaphor for, like, the leftover stuff, which you can call crap, but you can also see as an opportunity.
Yeah.
Then I think we view it differently.
I agree. I just want to say,
And
really
I think
quickly,
for you,
Damius is an INTJ, so are you. You know that's
Am
the rarest MBTI personality? It's
we're
like,
the chess players.
you're like, yeah, it's like you two and Vladimir Putin, and like that's
Yeah.
it in the world. But not, it's a little exaggerated, but anyways.
2%.
Yeah.
Okay, so but what I'm saying is like, so the way that's been seen, I'm just trying to be honest. I'm not trying to like make you feel bad. I think that's part of why. Like when I said, like, you know, this morning coffee thing kind of sucks for me.
Yeah.
And then you were sad about that and cried. Okay, like that's okay. But it kind of strikes me as a kind of like, that's part of this deal. I want to do this thing for you. And I'm like, you're not doing it. And you're like, that makes me sad.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's kind of like, okay, well, and then I'm like, okay, we'll just keep doing it. And I would like to, that dynamic is kind of, I do think like having a relationship in which one person doesn't have freedom is a problem.
Yeah. It's unhealthy.
Freedom to say. So anyway, so interestingly, and I don't think it's like a judgment thing, but I can imagine people in chat screaming about this, like those objects in that one storage place have, I think for you, your mother, and your siblings, they all are filed under trauma, right?
To some extent.
Which means
yes. More for them than for me, but sure.
More for them than for you, yes.
Because they just say, the kids say, that's dad's crazy stuff. I don't ever want to look at it or think about it.
It reminds me of bad experiences,
yeah.
right?
I don't know what my mother
But even your
thinks
mother
about
has
it.
had free access to those things. And the only time she took any interest is to like kind of like create this sort of torture for us to like book back from Texas under pain of like being charged $400 an hour, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lawyers in court. But it really, what's interesting, it was to get you in that room with her, not me.
Mm-hmm.
And then to kind of almost instantly flip out and not even take one single object with her. And you also were like, you know, whatever. Okay, so
Well, can I just say from my side, the storage unit is the quintessential Thorpe family project that has some really good elements. Like, there's different circumstances, but like, you know, has some really useful things. It's not like it's just garbage, like some kind of storage unit that's just full of like old baby clothes or something.
No.
But there's two issues. Number one, the physical aspect of it is like it's a disaster, but like only superficially. The
Not
actual
really,
things
yeah.
themselves are.
It was poorly
like, in
done.
fine
It was
condition.
done in this way that was intended to maximize trauma, which is like, get this fucking stuff in here, whatever, however, so it's over and we can walk away, which is typical of like anything that your mother's involved with. It's just like, let's just fucking get it done.
Right. When
And
that
then
didn't
crash.
and that was a result of the house trauma because you gave mom the financial power. She hadn't been paying the mortgage, so we had to sell the houses super quickly. Otherwise, they would have been foreclosed on, and we would have been penniless, which creates this like rush to get all the stuff out of the houses and into a storage unit, and they're shoved.
Yeah,
in
you
there,
take
and
something which
it's
could have
all
been-
a terrible experience that nobody wants to think about.
This could have been a wonderful experience because there was tons of money available, but it was a shit show, right? Whoever you want to blame, but the idea, like, I would say there was someone who unknowingly makes everything a disaster. And I think the rest of you guys also participate in that without knowing, so that you can then be victims. That's the idea of it. Whereas I'm always saying, like, why don't we, and I have been saying, and this is my problem, why don't we do this in a way that makes sense? But I've not had that responded to by anyone who makes sense in so long that I have lost any willingness to try that again. So
Now my
what I'm saying,
contention
for you, it's like so hot. For you and your mother and your siblings, it's so hot that it's like I can't even look at it or think about it. And I know you're saying much less so for me, but it still would be a kind of hot thing, because
in the sense of like interesting to me.
Because you would say hot, like fascinating, compelling, interesting, unresolved,
We'll bring
painful,
up emotions.
that kind of stuff. Makes me feel guilty. It's like super hot for you. For me, it's kind of like dead, in the sense like but it's a different kind of, like, if you want to say trauma. I'm just like burned out. It's different being burned out by something than being like, I like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm wrong about that, but it's like, well, I think if none of you were involved in this, if I was just given my own like kind of space to do this, which I haven't in so long that it's crazy, but if I was on my own, I just think I would just, well, I think I would be pissed, honestly, but I think I would just do it very differently. Maybe
this is
just
sort of
auction the whole fucking thing off at once and say whoever wants it. You know what I mean? Just like get it out of my life. But
it's sort of a weird non-controversy, a non-traversy, because on the one hand, you're like, I don't want to deal with the things in that storage unit. But there's a voice in your head saying, I should help Grace deal with those things.
Yes.
On the other hand, I'm saying I would like to deal with those things in the storage unit. It would give me closure. It would make me feel successful. I could make money, et cetera, et
I
cetera.
mean, a lot of those objects, not all of them, but a lot of those objects are things that are like, okay, well, I bought this, or we had this so that the reason I bought it instead of renting it was so that I could teach my sons how to use these things, or, you know, that your mother could teach her daughters how to use these things, so we could pass it on as a family heirloom. And so it's like pisses me off.
It does not have that effect on
Whereas,
me. I mean,
whereas for them, I think it makes them feel guilty. Like, oh,
Yes.
I didn't. Isn't it sad? Look at Dad's tools. He actually isn't really a tool guy, but he wanted to set up Tom and maybe one of his brothers that they could use tools to be mechanics or construction guys, or, you know, which they obviously could, and they had the aptitude for, but was like ruptured, and now they just, you know, are like, you know what I mean, unskilled laborers.
yeah.
So to me, I was willing to do that, and I tried over the course of 23 years to like sort of propose, like, okay, yeah, this makes sense. And there was an idea, especially with your mother, of like, okay, yeah, let's do that. That's what we're doing. And it was all just lies. And then you picked up on it, and you're like, okay, you know, let's do something different here. But it had a lot in common. And that also, like, largely, and I think this is where you're better off. You're like saying, like, yeah, well, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm not a
Personally,
quahogger.
yes.
Dad's not a quahogger. They're not going to quahog. Sell the fucking quahog boat. Get the money. And if somehow they like really come around and say, like, yeah, Okay, we can buy another Quahog boat.
But see, this is the difference between us, because I don't see I just see that thing, the whole storage unit, I kind of see as like a fuck you for my mom and my siblings. Like, we don't want your crap. So I would take great pleasure in selling it, making money off of it, making content off of it, and proving to them, like, no, you guys were wrong, but like, whatever. I'm going to win, even if
You're wrong about Dad and you're wrong about me, because you're wrong about
Exactly.
Dad that he's just a guy who has a problem with hoarding.
Yeah, right.
And you're wrong about me because I can deal with my trauma and make it into a win for me. You're not just going to dump your problems on me and then laugh at me for being a sucker, because
Right.
I turned it into a win happily. And now I'm going to take some of that money and continue to do these sorts of things. Okay, so
What I'm saying is, it's a different relationship. Me to my siblings and mother is different than to you to the mother of your children and your children. And I have no problem with you being out of it. In fact, if I go to the storage unit, I don't want you to be there, because it's
it
not
complicates
helpful
things in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and it's not helpful to either of us. And I have no, in my head, you know this is true, I have no thought like, Dad's just being a lazy, he doesn't want to do this. I don't care. I've never had that attitude towards you. I'm not resentful about. I just don't do that.
Because I am exhausted, but I do enjoy some things still in life. It's just those ones, you know. And I really do feel like the problem with it is, like, I was told, again, like, I was told for 23 years, I'm going to help you out with this. And then it was fucking dumped on me. And I really feel like, well, okay, well, someone has to do this side of the deal. You know what I mean? Like,
I get what you're saying, but I don't really see myself as doing nobody's going to do that side of the deal. In the sense that nobody is going to take those possessions and make them into family heirlooms and use them in a family way. It's not going to happen. Our family is like broken.
no, I understand that. I'm just saying,
but right, I
make it a win. I mean, or clean it up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really care. Just, well, I mean, I think in your case, there is this kind of like, okay, well, we're going to get a win together.
Yeah.
And it's worth investing in. But like, I would just say that, like, so for me, it's like, I no longer can invest on a certain level.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you should just respect that that's the truth. Like,
I don't
so
have
if
a
you're like,
problem with
hey,
that.
Dad, let us go down to storage and you make the kind of executive decisions, and I will help you, but I'm having trouble with that and it burns me out. It's like, I can't do that anymore.
Now, that's actually not my problem. I don't have that problem with you, especially because I have chat. Like, on a practical level, deciding what to sell and how much to sell it for and where to sell it. Chat and, like, people like OPC and Damius and people like that.
Yeah.
Even regular chatters, like, we've got it as far as that goes. Like, I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
The thing that gets me is saying, well, if I go to the storage unit, Dad's by himself, he's tired.
Well, that's
I
part of
haven't
that
set up-
crap.
I agree, but I want to figure out how to stop doing that. You know, he's tired because of, you know, to a significant extent, my actions.
Well, there's nothing you can do about it.
Okay, well, then I have a further question. So, this morning...
But what I'm saying is, if you're doing things like that are also tiring, you know what I'm saying? That's part of this, like, very complicated, like, kind of psyop. You tire me out by feeling bad that you aren't taking care of me. Like, that's exhausting. If it may be better just to kind of cut your losses on that one. And I
agree
said the
with you.
same to your mother, like, cut your losses maximally, because, like, I'm literally in a state of, like, and this has been relatively recent, where I'm like utterly exhausted all day.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like there's never any energy anymore. Like this relatively, I used to have like some fire
You did, yeah.
for a couple of hours, but it's been decreasing and decreasing, and it's natural. It's like I think there needs to be just a shift structurally here.
So that's what I would love to clarify is what is the shift structurally? Because let's just say this morning, right? We got up, we talked a little bit, I made some breakfast, and then I said to you, like, okay, so here's how I think today should go. I want to go to the storage unit. If you want to review the debate, let me know, and I can go to the studio and review it with you. And
Yeah.
you were saying to me, I'm totally open to this. I just want to understand how we like put this into practice. You said like I don't really have an answer to your question of like what should we do today. So that's where I want to like figure out how do we put this into practice without me putting
This
you in a
might be true,
situation-
Built to Spill.
That may
But
be
some
true.
of these are super specific. Things like the aluminum staging is like there are people who use aluminum staging professionally, and like it's very expensive stuff and it's in great shape, so
Yeah.
it would make sense to sell that as aluminum staging.
Of course.
It's actually worth thousands of dollars altogether, but
Yeah.
used, it's still worth at least half that.
So how do you like what is the structural shift that you'd like to see?
You know about half of that staging? I was working with on the house. The reason I got it was for the repainting the house that sold for, really was one of the two big money makers, the one on Solar Street. But that one I scraped every inch of paint and repainted, did an amazing job of took it right down to the wood, like did it all right. And about like halfway through the job, these guys came up on a pickup truck.
Yeah.
And they're like, this fucking guy hired us, or whatever, our boss or whatever hired us, and like he wasn't gonna pay us, so we just like took his staging, and he's like, give us $300 for it. And I was like,
Really?
yeah, it was like a really good deal, but they were just saying like, this is our way of, kind of like saying like,
over our
fuck you
boss.
for fucking us over. I had no idea what was really going on. And no one ever followed up on it and said like, hey, that's my staging. You don't have a right to do it. So it was like, whatever, it's a cash deal. Who's going to, and they obviously found me, just saw that I had some staging, and I was like, well, even if I just was to resell this, I could get way more than they're offering. Cause they're just looking for the short money. They're probably going to go drink it off. And they're just like, they're mostly doing it to say, fuck you, dude. Right.
They literally drove by on Solar Street in a pickup truck.
Yeah. And it was like a lot of, I didn't really need it, but like, of course it's nice to have more.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, okay, when I do sell all of this stuff, it'll go for more. And then another time,
I never knew that.
I think you do know this one. Another time, after I finished that house, I kept it to work on the smaller house, the one
Yes,
that we were living
I
in.
know that.
And I set up the staging outside, and it was right outside, but that's super close to the road.
Yeah.
The house foundation literally is the edge of the sidewalk, and then you had this road, right? So one morning, you just hear this like, right? So the garbage truck had caught the staging and pulled it and crashed it down right outside of the window. Which you'll see one of the poles is like destroyed, because aluminum is relatively soft metal.
Yeah.
So I tried to call the company and say like, I'm going to sue you, whatever. And they're like, whatever. They're a huge company that is like loosely mafia tied. And they're like, well, go ahead. I never did it. I called the attorney that my dad had used. And he's like, were you an eyewitness? And I was like, Yes, but I was an ear witness, and then I saw that. I mean, you know what I mean? I knew it was that truck,
Yeah.
but whatever. They probably would have settled. But anyways, 2 funny stories about the staging.
That staging has a lot of lore, way more than I thought it did. I thought it was just.
It
like,
only
you
damaged
know,
that one pole, which is like everything else fine. So
Yeah.
it only damaged that one pole, and even those 2 poles, like that pole could be cut back to where it isn't like shredded and can be used as like a mini pole or whatever. So it's like
Sure,
it's not really like it took that much, caused that much damage. So even if I had sued them, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So I'd like to get it out of my life,
Mhm.
but it did serve me well because it allowed me to. If I had rented that staging, it would have
Yeah.
cost me more in rental than what I did, which is buy it used / stolen. And so if you were able to get $2,000 back for it, I will have made money from what I originally put into it,
Oh,
which
yeah.
would have been, whereas when you rent something, it's just gone. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Right.
it was I did a beautiful job of painting it, and eventually the house did sell for a ton of money, in my opinion. Although I kind of maybe like did more than I had to, because and I know you'll say this is sad, I was painting it so in a way that, my sons would generate like decades or generations later say like, my dad did this right.
Right, and they wouldn't have to keep repainting.
And they'd say like, yeah, it's daddy's, hand.
Right.
And it's like part of our family. Which is
Yes.
which is hilarious. You know what I mean? Like as if you'd say like this barn, it's more than just a barn. It's been in our family for 4 generations.
Right.
And
Right.
this has roots like in the 1800s, you know what I mean? And it means a lot to me. I was raised here, and my grandpappy was raised here. Meanwhile, the reality is like, this is a shit show on every level. It's about to.
Meanwhile,
Should have
back in
just painted it like
You're
super fast, like just paint it like so that it falls apart in a week. Just fucking sell it.
you're
It's
sitting
like
there.
everything I owned was resting on like unexploded ordnance. You know what I mean? That's all there was. So the idea, like, yeah, this is an heirloom I can pass. It's just ridiculous. But it's funny.
Yeah. You're sitting there painstakingly scraping old paint and repainting it, priming it, hours and hours. Meanwhile, Mom's sniffing my fingers, smashing John's head into the tabletop.
No, and the funny thing
Whatever.
about it was like, it's one of the few times I'm not going to say this happened a lot, but I remember once like working from morning till night. I think I worked 14 hours straight, manual labor, up on these jacks, sanding, which is pretty tough. I mean, it was a power sander, but it's pretty tough to do. The shit's flying all over the place. But I remember like loving being out there in the morning, be able to have a cup of coffee, get out there in the morning, brought a lunch, ate it on the, the thing, and just worked until the sun came down. And then I went back over, and your mother was angry because I basically was like, I really enjoyed working like that. And the implication was, as opposed to, like, I enjoy like brutal manual labor because I don't have to listen to your shit. It's like makes sense. She was like angry and envious. And I should have just known right then. Like, it's such a strange reaction. Instead of saying like, wow, that's tremendous, because you added so much value to our family's assets by doing this thing, which did need to be done, and doing it well, and doing it yourself, and doing it well, even though you're not really this kind of guy.
Yeah.
You'd think like, hey, let me make you a nice meal. That's wonderful that you can do that on our behalf.
Right.
On a limited budget with really no experience. Instead, I get anger and envy.
Mm.
It's funny. You see it as funny? Hostility.
It's
Hostility?
yeah, it's funny.
Like and I'm not really this guy, but it's also like, isn't that what women are kind of like fantasizing out about? A guy who's wearing like, worker clothes and working hard with his body, sweating. Isn't that like your fantasy guy? But that's not, and the very fact that it was is somehow angering to you. Even though I'm not that guy. I'm just saying that was during the summer and I was teaching, but
Well, yeah, I mean,
but even the teacher guy is one of these guys, right? Like he reads, he's intellectual, he can have conversations, he works with young people. I was like a fantasy guy all around, but I got brutally beaten down, which shows you that I am ultimately a sub. You know what I mean? How did I allow myself to be treated like that? It's just, I just used to it. I was like, okay, this is just life, I guess.
Brutal, funny, but
so, anyways, but you can understand that that's tiring because I really don't think I am worthless. But I was just treated like that. And then when you kind of like, when we shifted and you kind of, offered something much more substantive, but also imported a lot of the same crap.
It's,
and you had seen me exhausted for so long that I actually think that you never have seen me like, you know what I mean? I was exhausted in some sense from when I was aware of your conception until now. So you've never seen like fresh dad. So I just think you assume I'm somewhere between like zombie status and exhausted status by nature. And that's not true.
Well, I believe that, but I remember when I was much younger, you were like you had much more energy, but I don't think I've ever seen you at your peak. I don't think so. I could see that.
Yeah.
So in order to get you back to that peak, what is?
Well, here's it. So here I do think I can offer you. If you, I'll just answer your question because, okay. So what could we do? I absolutely know what it could be.
Great.
Because you say like, well, okay, so like, okay, how do we do this? It might sound easy, like, but it's very, very simple.
Okay.
And this is why I say like, usually like, what should we stream about? How should we do the day? It's like, that's why I say like, all I want to do is the opposite of everything that exhausts me so that I can get restored. I think it's crazy to say like, okay, well, we're going to need to do some of those things that exhaust you, which is like saying to me like, hey, what should we do today? And then also like say like, but it's getting better. It's like opposite. It's like emergency. You know what I mean? Like 23 years of a disease that's unnecessary and can be like kind of like stopped. Okay, and I do know what the answer is. I understand that your mother is impossible to communicate with. Your siblings are not possible really to communicate with. But if you can have the relationship with me that you've had with me with the internet, and I know that's hard to say, what is the internet, but like with your audience, and leave me out of it. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think
because I have no resources really to offer you. And they have a lot of resources to offer you.
That's true.
Like I'm not saying you sucked me dry, but you didn't stop the sucking of me dry that your mother did most of. And I'm not trying to make you feel bad, but I'm just saying like, I remember, with NoFap Gamer, way back, I did say, could you take her off my hands?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
You did.
And
say
I
that.
understand why you're like, well, I don't really think so. But I did feel like you are interesting and would be interesting to someone else. And you're genuinely a fascinating, compelling person. And not just because you're female and you're young and you're, you know, inexperienced. And that's like what a lot of guys want, but also because, you know what I mean? But just as a human being.
Yeah.
And I still think that's true, but I guess I just feel like you've had trouble trusting them because, again, your trauma, and I put that kind of in quotes, your trauma says, I can't trust I trusted someone who betrayed me, and to some extent, my siblings betrayed me. So I can only trust you, and I'm going to lock on to that. That makes a certain amount of sense. But then again, that's what your mother said about her parents, and that's why she was doing what she did.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's unhealthy to exhaust someone who's already exhausted once they've maybe have played a legitimate role of saying, like, affirming you and saying you're a lovely young woman, and I think, you know, and
Which I really appreciate.
and getting and helping you to get this audience that you have never really trusted.
True.
And I'm not saying you trust an audience, but kind of between your own sense of yourself, which I think you've developed, and, you know, some of them genuinely care about you. Certainly they will contribute to your well-being. And I think the smoking thing is a perfect example of it. It's like, they made the difference. Damius Octavius made the difference. May have saved my life and your life. And, like,
Yeah.
did it by offering money for us to save our own lives, which is crazy in one way, but is like, you know, worked.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody's willing to do that, I'm gonna take them up on the offer. I don't have as much of a problem as you do with taking gifts or
No.
whatever from people.
Right.
G Coder, hope you are both doing well with your quitting journey. Happy to see it. It was actually my dad's chat conversation with you that inspired this.
Yes.
Coder,
and you're a
so
fucking asshole. Such a fucking asshole. Liar.
So
Coward,
here's my
loser. I can't think of enough pejoratives about you, and yet you're the best of the bunch.
So here's my question, Dad. Okay, so
Horrendous human
here's
being.
I think it would be helpful to
Asshole.
lay out, okay, what do I get from you? Okay, affirmation. Chat can provide that. Security. Chat can provide that to a larger extent than you can in a certain way through money.
Yeah.
And in terms of like literal money, you don't. Well, you provide like I guess you could say we're both
okay,
part
Grace,
of the business.
Grace. Okay, yes, we all understand. What it comes down to is, like, can you do this?
Uh-huh.
Like, or does it make sense? Like, you first would have to recognize you're doing one thing. And then the question is, can you do something else?
Yes.
And what measures, like quitting smoking, could you take to manifest that in a way that will be helpful to you, helpful to me, and will make your audience more engaged? Because I think all those three things can be accomplished.
Yes. I think I totally can do it because I think I've already taken a few big steps in the right direction and I've enjoyed taking them. Like,
holy shit, those glasses I had on,
yeah.
they're fucking everything up. I take them off and I can see clearly the screen. I forget they're just for reading, and I'm not reading. I don't know. I've got a problem. I think I may have a mental illness.
It's probably causing the nausea and the dizziness to a
Yeah.
certain extent because you're blowing everything up.
What the fuck am I doing? I don't think I can handle glasses. Most people can like integrate having glasses in their life, but I think it happened too late that I needed glasses. I can't become a glasses person.
No. You know what it is? You get cheap $2 reading glasses. You need
No,
real
I had
glasses.
those gradation glasses. It was horrible. I was like, okay, I have to tilt my head for various.
Well, wouldn't the
You're
gradation glasses help though? Because then you can leave them on all the time, and if you're looking down-
Theoretically, yes, but I don't know. Some dogs you can't like put a collar on. They're just gonna. You can't
they're
do
just
it.
gonna.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, better for you to not use the glasses than. To
I
use
think
them
I
all
need
the
someone
time.
to read to me.
Yeah. You're a YouTube guy, anyways. Just watch videos, audiobooks.
Fuck it.
Give up on reading. It's not gonna happen.
Well, so
So I was responding to the first part
no,
of
no, Grace, no. Like, and maybe a whiteboard would be helpful here. I don't think you should be so glib to say, okay, well, I've been engaging in something for 7 years. I think I can do something else. It's like you gotta be a little more. You gotta be a little more engaged than that, no?
I'm not saying
Because I, you can say that, and then my take on it is, oh, I've heard for 23 years people saying like, I think I got it here. I mean, 23 years of experience is not going to be resolved in like 2 sentences saying like, I think we got this. And maybe you're not doing that. But this dynamic makes the smoking thing seem like, I don't know, like a habit of like picking earwax. It's like this is like deep spiritual thing. You've witnessed it your entire life and been sort of like the heir of it for 7 years. It's not going to be real easy to find a scalpel. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying it necessarily will be super easy. I'm just saying that, and I do agree with you, like it's a deeply ingrained like cycle or relationship, whatever you want to call it. I don't think I'm not trying to be glib. I don't think I'm being glib about it, but I get what you're saying. But all I'm saying is that I have taken a few small steps that are like big, but they're small because they don't really require a lot of effort, but they're big in the sense that it's something dramatically different. And they have had positive effects. So when you say, can I do it? I think I can. But I am.
Yeah, but I mean, I would just like more of a mentality of like ambulance kind of mentality. You know what I mean? Like I need this weight off of me. It's killing me. How's it helping you that it's killing me?
It's not.
Like, I just think maximal opposite of this and then see what happens. But there's been always part of this is like, okay, I can take a little bit of the weight off. Oopsie, I can't. It's actually more weight. That's how it works, right?
Absolutely.
Right? Because I'll say like, can you give me a little space? And it's like, yes, I can. And then all of my space, it's for a minute. And then it's like all my space gets taken away. It's like, and like, it's kind of like knife to the throat, sort of like, don't ever do that again.
Yes.
I need you. And it's like, okay.
Yes. That's absolutely
I think we should think it through a little more before the next round.
I think we should definitely think it through. I want to know what it
But maybe there's
look
something
like.
easy. Maybe there's something that someone in chat wants to propose. maybe someone wants to propose something in chat and add a financial incentive to just make it easier. But see, here's the thing. I think I'm saying, and I may be wrong, I'm saying like, okay, I've been the person looked to for 23 years as like the kind of father figure, but not listened to ever. And I don't think it's no problem, but I don't think you who watched that happen to me and then also participated in it to some degree can really work with me with fresh eyes. How could you? Like treat me like with respect without all this, you know what I mean? But on the other hand, we've said many, many times privately, okay, so how about if you take charge and you're like seriously fried mentally and volitionally, and you kind of are confused, and a lot of your impulses are going to be like unhealthy impulses, or in a sense are just a reworking of the same thing. So what I'm saying is, I don't think either of us are good candidates for being the decision makers in our lives. And I think chat is better qualified. Because you've tried to say to me the same things as mom, as your mother said, which is, I'm going to definitely listen to you starting now, right? And it's like, it doesn't work. I'll do anything. Ask me to smash something on my head. And it's like, okay, well, that kind of a comment shows a real lack of maturity. So this one's dead in the water. What? Yeah. So, I mean, I think maybe, you know, there's a kind of lost in the sauce aspect.
Vogue says that's true, but when chat decides, you need to follow through, and you can't.
Well, actually, that's not true, because with the cigarette thing, we did listen to a chatter who held the line.
That's true. I think,
and we're glad we did.
It could, yeah, it could be that I'm overly optimistic because the cigarette thing has gone so well for the last 24 hours that I'm like, oh, maybe this is just a lot easier than I thought.
Well, Vogue Intent, I would say the first thing, like the way it happened with the smoking is kind of just the way it could happen. I think is like we come up with something that's a possibility, and then someone in chat says like, okay, I will incentivize that. You know what I mean? But I think you'd have to even say like, what is it we could even be talking about? Which
That's
would be
what I
kind of
wanna-
brainstorming.
Yeah. That's what I'm curious. That's what I want to do.
But I think it's a question about structure.
Yeah.
Not about like, what should I do today? It's like, I just want to like, I don't know what it is. I want to once again do the opposite of like adopting a child and at the same time marrying a woman. I want to divorce, and I want to formally in court abandon any aspiration I have to parental duties permanently. You see what I'm saying? Like,
right. I see what you're saying.
that shit was trolled. Guys, I want to, do you know what I mean? Divorce and like, I just want those things destroyed.
Right.
And I think what will remain could be healthy, but like that stuff got fried to where it's not healthy. And I don't really know that it's like even ontologically present any longer. You know what I mean? Like,
in the sense that like, we're
I
both
understand
adults.
you're technically my daughter biologically, and that we have become one flesh physically. But
Well, I think the issue that it comes down to for me is communication. How should me and my dad communicate? How should we communicate? What is the right way to communicate? I think that's what it comes down to before it is about...
No, I don't think so.
Well, to me, that's what
I think it's a question of ultimately, who is trusted? Who is the decision maker? Do you see what I'm saying?
Okay. But let's say even
It's relational, not communication.
Okay. So are you saying that one of us has to be the decision maker?
Belgium.
An
Funny.
ode to a cigarette. No, bring it back up.
Okay.
An ode to a cigarette, to the flame, to the pause it grants. That quiet between storms where trembling hands remember. Paper-thin ritual, a ghost of warmth tracing the lungs. Hot cotton, slow and steady. Each breath an uncoiling, a somber surrender to the moment. The world exhales with you. Time flickers, ash gray and honest. And for a moment, you almost believe in calm.
Brought to you by Philip Morris.
Okay,
That's
so
better than the Marlboro Man campaign because that's more honest. It's like, if your life sucks, try this. Whereas Marlboro Man is like, hey, you're not gay, are you? You want to seem less gay? Try this.
So,
This
so
is not necessarily gay.
Why can't you each be in charge of yourselves? Is that a relevant question?
I think that I can be in charge of myself largely. I don't think you can be in charge of yourself. I mean, but like if people say, "Oh, get a job," getting a job is largely putting someone else in charge of yourself, so it's not that crazy. Do you know what I mean?
What's not that crazy? Getting a job.
Having someone else be in charge of you.
Oh, I see.
I mean, largely like a job that's like a real job, you know, it basically can become someone's life.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, a real like white person job is like, it's not really 40 hours, it's like 60 to 70 hours a week. And they kind of own you in that time.
Mm-hmm.
And for a lot of people who have jobs like that, all they do outside of that job is just recover. So,
Yeah, that's true.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
you
it's
can
not
be
that
in charge of
crazy to
yourself.
have your, employer be also your sort of daddy or whatever, your guide. And most of these people are male. So I approve.
So the idea is basically that chat will be my employer, which is the idea.
No, your daddy.
Or daddy, yeah.
And that you won't go to me.
Right.
Like, I'm not saying permanently or whatever, but that you will just quit the habit of going to me and saying, they don't really understand me. You understand me. Like, I think you need to be kind of like more like fight it out with them.
Right.
Before you just go, well, why bother? I would say it's too easy for you to just say, well, they don't really understand me. They don't know what I've been through. You do.
I get
so
that.
bend over and get pegged.
No,
because
but
I
here's
need
my question. Here's my question. Okay, so today I'm
It
like,
helps
okay.
me to reset.
Yeah, right. So here's my question, okay, guys? So this is my question for like this is
So
my
that's what I want you to do on a whiteboard.
Okay. Give me 1 sec.
Do you agree that that would be helpful, or are you saying like, because I already suggested it once and you didn't do it?
No, I pulled up my online whiteboard.
Oh, there you go. Go ahead and do that. That's fine.
Okay. All right. Okay, so cuz here's my problem, guys. So this morning I was like, okay, I think chat wants me to go to the storage unit. I promised something yesterday. I want to follow through on that. But then I'm like, okay, well, this is why I say the problem is communication, but I could be
That's
wrong.
true, right? Does chat want you to do it on a whiteboard? Oh, you have to determine what chat means, but
Well, but let me just finish this. so then I say to my dad, like, okay, I think this would be like, this is how I'm seeing the day going today. What do you think about that? Where are you? How do you want to fit into that?
Grace,
And
my God.
he says, I don't really want to have this conversation. So
Right.
I'm just like, okay, so I don't understand that, because if chat's in charge of me, do I not talk to you? Like, don't we have to, like, on some level sort of communicate each other's needs and like what we're thinking of doing today? But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's like the problem.
But you can just tell me, here's the deal. As long as it doesn't really involve me very much. And then what I'd like to offer myself as is like, so like I did yesterday, I was like, I had this fucking interaction with this prick. I could go over it and like rant.
Yeah.
If that works for you. And then you and chat figure out, like, do we want to do that? It's not really about like, oh, daddy said he has his diaper needs changing. It's like, I'll respect you and chat. Do you see what I'm saying?
I understand that.
But if I'm not,
would.
but if you're like, I don't know what to, my stream's kind of dying. Can you come on? It's kind of like, I don't do that to me. You know what I mean?
I think that's fair to say.
Like, figure it out yourself.
But if the idea would be that, like, so, like, for example, on your
I guess
streams-
I'm saying, like, flatly, like, I want to be way less responsible, and for you and chat to take on the responsibilities, and for me to be like, you know, just like I guess you could say, like, just like you know, like an unnecessary, but, you know, willing to help person who's burned out. I don't know what that, you know.
Okay, but I can see that. I can see that. But chat,
I don't want to do what you say you want me to do. And I don't know why you keep asking me to do it when I don't want to do it.
Yesterday was a good example with the bike. Yesterday, chat said go get the bike fixed. Ben said go on stream to review Radical Coder. Well, he didn't say that. He offered it. Ben is saying you should have gotten your bike fixed. Well, I think what he's saying is I should have, like, polled the chat or come up with some kind of decision about how we figure out what chat wants and then done that.
Well, I think you should have just responded to me based on where your stream was, whether that would be fun for content or you think it would be good for content. If you said no, I would just say, okay, fine. But then, yeah, figure out how to do it.
Right. But my question is, I don't understand this. I'm not saying that I want you to tell me what to do, but I'm saying I want to know where you're at the beginning of the day so I can anticipate whether you would want to do an intellectual stream or you're just going to be out for the day, or whether you're...
Well, what's going on here is we're having two different conversations, and so I just think that's what's going on here.
Okay, so, okay.
You're not responding to my like what I'm saying. You're having a different conversation, and then I go, I would like to have this point responded to, and you go, I would like to have this point responded to, and we can do this for a while, but I'm getting decreasingly interested in doing so. You're not fucking you're not fucking responding, you know. But like, okay, so you're sitting here going, well, I think we need to plan out what we're going to do. Okay, I don't know what that means.
Okay, you're saying
I'm saying, like, this is what I would like to have responded to. This is the position I'm in. This is like a kind of like all points bulletin, like alarms on emergency should be responded to prior to any engagement whatsoever. And you're like, okay, so what does that mean in terms of our schedule? It's like, I get it. I don't like, you know, I can't help. I'm out at a certain point.
Okay. I respect that.
Why can't you just respond to what I have said? And I'll tell you what you can write on a whiteboard.
Okay.
And then you can now start acting like you're scared of me if you want. But I've said it like 18 times. And then you keep saying like, I'm going to answer your question by asking a question. That's not answering my question.
Okay. I think I'm just confused. I do think I'm just confused, but
Okay, well, maybe
what should
take it
we-
in steps. I mean, I'm sure maybe on some level you're on the right page here, but like I'm not experiencing what you're saying to me as like step one. You keep going, well, what's the plan? And I'm saying I need to understand what's the basic organization here,
Okay,
the
that makes
basic
sense.
structure, and then you can make a plan based on it.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Yeah,
I may be
that's
wrong,
obviously true.
but
Okay.
it's like saying, well, what does that look like? And it's like, what does what look like? I'm asking you a question or suggesting something you're not responding to.
I can see what you're saying. I didn't realize I wasn't responding to it. I thought I was, but anyways, I would like to respond to your question. Okay, so basic structure.
I think that what I'd like to say is like, here's what it's been that I don't like. Here's some things I don't like about it. And here's what it could be. And this is what I would like to have happen. Then you can say the same for yourself, but like,
Okay.
let's start there.
All right. Let's start there. I agree. I think I was jumping the gun. Okay. So I'm putting this in terms of dad. So or what has occurred. Oops.
Wouldn't it just be past and then future? I don't.
Okay, yeah, that's easier. Past, future.
Or
Okay.
possibility or something. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. So go ahead. Give me the things in the past that you dislike.
Okay. So I would say that your basic take on like chat and collaborators and all those people is I'm leery of them and I really trust you. And I know that like what I need to do in life is like privately talk with you. That is, you say that's my crack. Okay. And I think you can say also like, I've had the feeling that this is like the most important medicine for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that engaging with chat, engaging with, even like your mother, your siblings, okay, without me is scary and makes you run back to me.
Yep.
Because they hurt your feelings and you don't trust them because they're not trustworthy, which I do understand on some levels is true. Ruby is a horrible person. Jeremy lied to you. Darius is an asshole. Your mother, blah, 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 right? Okay.
Yeah. I think I got that on the board. Yeah.
But the problem is I don't think you've ever been willing to sell yourself as a streamer to your audience because you assume that they're going to reject you, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So, and then you wonder why. I mean, I don't. Can't you see the lag?
Okay. Yep.
You basically said if I was honest with them, they'd reject me. So
Yep. That's true.
I don't. So then you come back to me because you can be honest with me and I won't reject you. But also, what is the point at a certain point? We're streamers. So
True. Yeah. I agree.
if you
that-
say like, well, I don't like streaming because it does require a certain amount of honesty, which is true.
Yeah.
And I don't intend to engage because I don't trust them. So I'll go running back privately to you. I mean, that's a formula for poverty.
Yes, it is.
Isn't it?
Yes. Yes. Lack of streaming, private conversations.
And you're going to have a private
Caution.
conversation with me about whether you should be having a private conversation with me on some level is what's going on. And I'm like, okay, well, if I say no, you're like, oh, okay, let's talk about that. And it's like, okay, well, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But whether or not this past thing, I'm not so concerned with saying it was wrong or it's codependent or whatever, but I'm just saying currently it makes no sense for you to use me as almost entirely the only resource and really others as like, okay, I guess they're allowed to send me presents. But I don't want to do collabs.
Right.
Like, and obviously it would be crazy for me to collab with people, but I get that you're into it. It's like, doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. If I want to be a streamer,
Doesn't make
to
any
have that
fucking sense.
attitude-
And to the extent it doesn't make sense, it reminds me of 23 years of crazy shit that people have proposed to me that never made any goddamn sense. Then I'm fucking exhausted by. So, like, I mean, the question is, why are you doing this? If it makes no sense,
I don't
why
think it
are you
makes,
doing this?
I don't think it makes sense anymore, but I do think it made sense because you can't really equate my, like, you know, connection with you to mom's connection with you, because my connection was in the middle of her attacks. And so I did need private conversations. I did need affirmation. I didn't trust other people. I
Okay,
didn't
that's
have
fine,
confidence.
but I'm not saying why did you ever do this? Obviously, if your mother acts crazy towards you and has acted crazy in the past, you're going to tell your father, and he's going to say, "Well, Jesus Christ, what the hell? I'm so sorry. She was wrong." And I'm not saying, but it's been 7 years and that's enough. I'm not even saying that.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm just saying the actual reality is that I wake up every day fried.
Yeah.
And there's not much there except like some irritability in the midst of like a massive desire to sleep. I mean, I
Yes.
am exhausted. Have I done a great job in trying to be a resource to you to the point where like I'm bone tired every day? You could say that. Have I let it go on too long? I don't care. But I should, even if you say you should continue to do this for her, or you say to me, you should continue to do this for me, I need more affirmation. Doesn't matter. It's not there. The well is dry. The ATM has no bills in it. The riverbank is just the ground cannot, you know what I mean? Like it's
Yes.
fucking over.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And now the question is, do you want to, you know, demand that a starving woman breastfeed you? It's the
Right.
best thing that I can offer as an analogy.
Mm-hmm. Ben was saying he wants the maximally
Good.
opposite of his current interactions with Grace. Let's get
Yes.
to what that looks like. Okay, I think
Yes.
that's helpful.
That's a
Yeah.
great, you know, I'll say Vogue Intent, I fucking couldn't stand her. But like, you know, she's one of these good women who's very I don't know, hostile at first, but I think she's solid. And on the other one too, Virginie, they're solid and they don't buy Ruby's shit. I think they got Ruby pilled.
They did.
They're a little
Virginie
more
for
like,
sure got
okay,
Ruby pilled. Yeah.
okay, I guess it's not quite the cartoon. So yeah, so anyways, and I'm not sure that if you say like, hey, Dad, it's fine. Stomp your feet, stamp your fist on the just yell it out, okay? And if I just take all of that and multiply it times 2, that it wouldn't also be something I want and that chat wants. I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
I understand. Yeah.
Like for me to say, I am fucking tired. I don't want to continue to be tired out. And I would be totally open to something extraordinarily radical. I think you should say, okay, me too. Me too.
I agree.
And if that means getting on a plane today because someone's willing to pay for you to go across the country. I don't think that it's entirely space in that sense, but like, okay, whatever.
I get what you're saying. It's
Whatever
important
it
for you to
is,
say.
let's go extreme and then really say like, okay, is that like maybe even a good, even if it's a failure, just being extreme would probably like be refreshing instead of like saying like, well, I made a little bit of progress. I just am feeling like personally, and I don't think it's wrong to say like 23 years of something, I want it done now, just like, like the cigarettes, like it can be done. Can it be done? I don't know.
Right.
I want to not be looked at as ultimately the source for anyone who's like having trouble and wants advice and affirmation. I don't want you or anyone to be that person. I need a break from that. It hasn't been a great experience for me, and maybe I contributed something to you. Maybe you needed that. That's wonderful. I'm happy for everybody. I don't blame myself. I just am saying like, what would happen if you rerouted those impulses to someone else?
Right. So
in a way that you couldn't just switch back to me.
I understand
and
that.
And like we'd all have to agree, like, and I don't have to sit there going like, I really shouldn't, you know what I mean? Like, just, I doesn't get rerouted back to me. It just gets somehow, there's a wall here on some level, and I get to breathe a little.
Yes.
And that I understand you'd have the impulse, but that you just would say like, okay, this is a good experiment to see what happens if I look elsewhere.
Right. And I understand you.
And you're not going to die.
No, I don't think I'm going to die.
You're not going to die if you do that. But I am going to die. I feel like I'm going to die if you continue doing this, even if you do it a little bit less.
Yes.
I really feel like it's like I'm not saying a literal life or death thing. I'm just saying it's just like, I really feel like there's no way that me continuing to do this is healthy for anyone.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I get that.
I feel like you know what I mean? I feel like, I don't know what the analogy would be, like a horse that needs to rest, that's being asked to continue the journey.
Yeah.
And is pretty sure it's going to like collapse. And how is that helpful?
I agree. I don't think it would be
And
helpful.
all I'm saying, I'm not saying I need to have all the things that were promised to me. I'm just saying I would just like to be honest, and I hate that it sounds bad. I would just like to be left alone as much as possible but not just physically, but like spiritually left alone
Right.
for a little bit. And then until I feel lonely,
Yes.
you know, and maybe I'll feel lonely, but I can't tell you how it is to just feel like people are putting pressure on you to perform in a certain way for them for 23 years, and there's no sort of gratitude or payback or whatever. And I understand that's different with you than your mother, but I'm just saying in some ways there's a similarity. And I think that I'm just saying, like, I think that I understand I'm not trying to make you feel guilty, but I'm just saying, like, that is my experience, and I would like that you to be able to respond to that. Otherwise, like, I just think it would be natural that I would at the very least enter in a state of depression
Yeah.
that I don't see how I would emerge from, because like 23 years is a long, long time to try something. And I think I would love to just say, like, let's call that a failure on some level. I'd like to be able to at least ask the question, there's something wrong here, and if I don't want to go back into it, that I can say, like, you know what, sit and spin, all of you, including you. Like, if my life is better, like, whatever, and I don't give a fuck if you all want to commit suicide, go fucking commit suicide. I don't care. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's where it's gotten to.
Yeah.
And I just would like there to be some sort of radical shift that occurs, instead of going like, okay, so what does the plan look like, or whatever it was you're saying, which I'm sure was rational. You have to take it seriously. I understand. It's like, it's like, okay, it's been normal, it's been normalized, I've never seen anything other than this. But like, I am a human being, and I don't think it's a lot for a human being to say, like, I would like to be left alone, but also in some ways provided for in terms of my basic needs.
I don't think that's a lot.
And then we'll see how it goes.
I don't think that's a lot.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I put what you said your experience in the past has been. And then I literally just took the same sentences and put them in future potential, whatever you want to say. So it's just flipped. And I think the future, what's on the side of the future.
Well, I think if I can look at the third one there, Grace stays in collab/chat. And maybe this is what I mean. But like, you might have a collab where you're like, what the fuck is going on? And then you go to chat and say, what should I do? You know, like, Ruby's acting crazy, or like OPC hit his head. What should I do? Instead of running to me, you run to them.
Right. I get, that's why I included collabs/chat. Like, just staying with them, maybe instead of in them, would have been a better word to use. Whatever. Like,
yeah, right.
Basically,
a lot. I'm saying, if you agree that in some sense the logic on the left side has been how the logic works,
which I agree it has. Yeah.
Okay. So like, as soon as you can get from the left side of this to the right side of this, everything's making sense. And like, this shouldn't be like, well, I don't know, there's a lot of compelling things on the left. I just don't see it.
I understand that. I don't think there's anything compelling on the left. All I'm interested in is getting to the right and staying there. And whatever would make the most sense to get there, I want to do.
Alyssa wants you to be a slave.
I mean, you want to call that slavery.
I mean, we've tried, we've literally tried, like, with your mother too, we've literally tried saying like, okay, so just fucking listen to me no matter what I say. Don't, you know, it's just not going to work, because obviously you've got to be creative and responsive and whatever. Like, I can't. But I don't think, you know, someone could say in the middle here, okay, Well, what about Grace learns to be independent and stand on her own 2 feet and make her own decisions and not care what chat or her dad says? I don't think that's an option, but I understand how that makes some sense.
I think I mean personally, I think the idea I think the idea would be to go from
I am
past-
not
from
into
the left-
BDSM, but like Grace and her mother are, honestly. They're like dungeon people. I have
True,
I'm always
true.
like exhausted at the prospect of this stuff, but
It makes more sense for Grace to swap masters.
it's like an
than to
Eastern. Are you Eastern
Yeah,
European,
sure.
Alyssa, by any chance? Because Eastern European people always seem to like understand human nature in terms only of violence. And I respect that, but I have no idea what they're talking about.
So, chat, how do we get to the right side of the column and stay there? Do I move out? Do I say I can't talk to my dad privately? Do I stay on stream 24/7? Like, what do we do
It
to
is
get
sad.
there? That's what I care about. I don't care what it is. I would just like to know what it even theoretically would look like. Because I agree. Left side, wrong. No longer necessary. Destructive, dysfunctional. No problem saying that.
Well, okay. So maybe another thing would be like to brainstorm some possible ideas. One of them that I like, a lot of things I have said in this direction that you have like kind of, your polite, like, this is the routine, like, thank you. I'll
Yeah.
put that up here and we'll do that sometime.
Yeah.
One example of that is, and I'm not using this to attack you, I've said to you, why don't you allow chat to ban me for a certain number of minutes for a certain contribution?
Yes, you have. Right.
And I was like, I'm totally into that. I would be the person who has a problem with that. I have absolutely no problem with that. And you're like, well, we're not going to do that. I don't know why. I mean, maybe no one will do it, but like, there's no downside to that. And you can have a banner that says like, or you can have one that says, bring dad on or something. I don't know. This is, but I think it's important to say this is your channel ultimately, not mine. It's yours. And your audience is obviously integral to that. I don't want to be integral to it. I want to get my own channel going. But I think I'm too tired to do that right now.
Okay. Well, Damia said the first step would be to have a stream where you talk to chat about possibilities.
Yeah. Yeah.
But is that not what we're doing right now? Isn't that what we're doing right now, guys? Or would that be
It
a
means
different
without
thing?
me.
Okay, without you. Okay.
Yeah.
But I don't understand. You are talking to Ben, not chat. Okay, but how am I going to do this? Okay, so let's just say theoretically. Okay, I kick my dad off the stream, and me and chat come up with some kind of plan. Then what happens? I tell my dad, this is what I'm doing, deal with it? Like, what happens? How do I...
It's
do
a
I ask-
spiritual shift, but you keep saying it's a practical issue. It's just a spiritual shift, Grace. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, obviously, you could say like, okay, I'm gonna like pretend I care what chat says. Then I'm going to like say like, I didn't trust them, and I'm gonna rush back to you privately. Obviously, this like no one can prevent you from doing that.
Of course, that's true.
But I'm appealing to you that like you're gonna kill me at this point. I would love it if someday you go, you know what, that was really wonderful. I'm so appreciative of what that you were willing to give of yourself to that point. But I don't really frankly care at this point. I
Yeah.
just don't want to be put in that position. And there's nothing that can stop you because obviously, unless you're 24, but you could even text me right now. I'm feeling nervous. I really
Yeah.
want to like order some food and just, have a beer and cry with you,
I could say that.
what am I gonna say? Or you could not do that, but like you could just start breaking down, and of course, like, who the fuck is gonna take care of you? Your mother? A chatter?
If he's honest, he's asking you to take the lead. Sounds like you don't believe him. I don't understand what that means. If 90% of chat say, "Hey Grace, you should move away from Ben," and I move away, and all of a sudden I'm not like doing anything with him, and we're not communicating, and 90% of chat says, "Don't text him, don't talk to him."
Yeah.
And I say, like,
all right,
okay,
so
I said I was
say
gonna
someone
listen to
offers you
chat.
$5,000 to live with someone like Lav, let's say, and Goon.
Yeah.
Okay. They'll pay you $5,000. Lav and Goon are happy to whatever. Okay. Let's just say.
Okay.
Okay. And then for what, say a month. Okay. Here's the two possibilities. You have like a secret conversation with me the whole time. I miss you. Like, I'm just doing this for the money. Like, let's just I hate these people. Can I sneak you out here? Or you just go like with the smoking thing. It's the same thing kind of, right? Or you just go, okay, so you paid $5,000. I'm not happy or whatever. I'm not happy. I don't like these fucking people. And but I'll stay here, but like I miss my dad and I think it's healthy that I miss my dad. I've lived with him X number of years. Meanwhile, we flash over to me. I've got bitches, food, happy as a lark.
Okay, Damius says, "Do what you want to do, Grace. Chat just makes decisions."
No
okay,
bitches.
so.
But whatever.
So
If people have, Grace, the idea of like, well, what the fuck is this about? I'm just saying people have made you lots of offers. Many of them are just crazy. You should never take anyone up on them. But other people, have made, offers for like things you generally are like, ignore them, right? And I'm like, hey, well, maybe you should think about that. Like, what's the big deal? Okay. And I'm not saying that's not complicated, but if people say, I think you need to just physically get away from your dad, and I imagine also like just not communicate with him that much, although I think probably people would say like, okay, well, you should set him up in some way so that he has like access to funds, leave with $1, like literally, you know what I mean? But like,
yeah, probably, yeah.
Well, you could try that. See how it goes. See how I like it.
This is gonna seem really stupid. I understand.
And when it doesn't,
that.
and when you want to like reconnect with me, reconnect with them and cry or say you're confused or whatever with them.
I understand that, but my question is, and maybe
because I do think that it is ultimately an unhealthy relationship for two adults where only one of them crashes onto the other one. It's not healthy.
Yeah, like I said, the left side.
Because I don't really generally do that to you.
No.
So.
But okay, Dad, can you just dip down for a second? Because I just have to ask chat a question because I just know that this is just gonna piss you off. I don't understand, guys. This is like seriously like a mental blockage here. Let's say I wake up today and I decide I'm going to go to the storage unit and do a stream there. Am I supposed to tell my dad? Am I supposed to ask him what he wants to do? If I'm gonna make food, am I supposed to ask him if he's hungry or just tell him we're eating this? I don't get it. Why is nobody like telling me what what the plan is with that. I don't understand it. I don't get it. Because if I tell him, he says, I don't want to be asked those kinds of questions. Ignore him? Okay, so that's the solution? I just act like he doesn't exist? If you had to ask this question, then that means you don't get it yet. Tell him, get his input. Yeah, but that's what I said today. That's what I said today, is I'm just saying, like, I get that I'm hyper-fixating on this thing today, but I'm saying, this morning, I said, this is what I would like to do. What are you up for? What do you feel like? How do you think, how would you like to fit in? Does that sound like a good plan? And he was like, I don't want to have that kind of conversation. Don't I have to know if we're going to have any kind of, relationship? Don't I have to know where he's at? If we're going to stream together, don't I have to know, like, is he up for it? What kind of stream does he want to do? What am I missing here? Shut the fuck up, all Ben wants to know. I want a cigarette. I want a cigarette. If he doesn't, I need to go get the more Zins. I'm out of Zins. Everything you're saying is the problem. You're too clingy. How about you just tell him what you're doing instead of asking for permission? It's not that I'm asking for permission. I'm saying, I'm going to go, like this morning, I'm going to go to the storage unit. If you would like to stream at some point on your channel about my debate and go through it, or whoever's channel it is, that's not the main problem. I'd like to know if you're up for that earlier so that I don't go, or in the middle so that it's in the middle, or later so that I do the whole storage stream and then we review it, or if you're not up for that kind of a stream at all. And am I not supposed to ask him that? What? How am I going to know whether we're going to stream together or not if I don't ask him that? I don't understand. But if that's the clinginess, then, like, I guess I'm not making the shift. I don't understand what is so hard about this. I don't understand what's so easy about this. If he doesn't want to talk about it, he's basically giving you permission to do what you want. Okay, so then I should, okay, so we have a non-relationship at that point. So I go make some breakfast, I wrap it up, he can heat it up whenever he wants, I don't talk to him, and I just walk out the door for the day, or whatever my plan is. Like, that's, what? Pretty much. Okay, so we have a non-relationship. You can talk to him on your downtime. He doesn't want to talk about work. What? No, he doesn't want to talk on downtime. That's the whole point. He wants you to give him food without quarrel and mind your own business otherwise. But, okay, but that would work if he had a job and I had a job and, like, they did not intertwine, that might work. But we stream together. Like, I understand sometimes I stream separately, but the times that we're streaming together, would it not be important to understand where he's at, when he wants to stream, what he wants to stream about? Am I crazy? That's not a non-relationship. You can still have times you interact, you just follow your plans for the day independently. But you You can't just live independent lives if you have like intertwining things. You have to like collaborate on some level. I'm like, the female mind is an enigma. He wants to do his own channel. Let him. Well, of course. I mean, I don't know what to say. He has a desktop. If he wanted to just do his own thing, maybe I'm misunderstanding that he just wants to do his own thing. If he wanted to just do his own thing and not have me involved in his streams, he could just tell me that. That's why I'm saying it's about communication. Like, if he's hungry, does he let me know? Do I let him know if I'm hungry? Do I just make food and assume he'll be hungry when I'm hungry? You can ask him if he wants to stream. If he says no, just make your own plans. If yes, you follow up with plans then. Well, literally 15 feet apart. What part of take the lead makes no sense? You have to take comments from him less as personal insults and more of communication. You pander too much. In blue-collar spaces, asking/pandering too much is seen as an insult. 2 subs, 2 dum-dums. No, you. Is the ring light pure white or is that your makeup? It looks extra ghouly today. I'm not sure why. I'm probably just pale. What I'm asking for is a plan. When I wake up, should I communicate where I'm at and what I feel like doing today? Seems like the answer is no. Let's put it into practice. Decode what you want to do. Tell Ben what you're doing. If he has input, incorporate his input, then do the plan. No, he's not smoking right now. I assume you meant decide, yeah. What do I want to do? Okay, well, I'll ask you guys just to give me some suggestions. It is raining out. Okay, so I'm just theoretically practicing this out. Communicate, but don't ask any questions. Well, that's not communicating. That's just like, well, I mean, okay. Throw away the dress. Never. No. That's not ugly. Why don't you make the plan now? This is a retarded, Grace. You can't think for yourself. That's true. Less questions. Maybe I can. I'm not opposed to saying I can't. Take chat bowling. Really? You want to see a solo bowling stream? That's just sad. You said you wanted to go to the store. Tell Ben you're going. Take his input, then go. Okay, but isn't he going to say, like, well, is this a shift or... Okay, so, no. If I say, Dad, rejoin the stream, and I say, I'm going to go to the store and get more Zins. Then what? Then what? I say, would you like a Zin or what? If it sounds or feels like you're asking permission, don't do it. Mooncake, please don't read Juno's comments. She's a disturbed individual. Okay. Okay. Dad? Rejoin the stream, please. Well, that worked. I didn't ask him if he wanted to. I just told him to, and he said yes. That was funny. Hey,
Hello. I clicked off entirely.
I saw.
Yeah.
So
I enjoyed the break, honestly.
that's great.
Which doesn't mean I'm unhappy. I'm very happy to talk to you, but I do get worn out. But can I tell you? I'll say. I mean, people can say inappropriate, whatever. But my urge when I clicked off, because I have the headphones on and I'm here, was to look up pornography.
Really?
Yeah.
That makes sense. Stress.
You know what I mean? Like, I didn't act on it, but I was like, yeah, I want to. You know what I mean? I can't smoke a cigarette. I'm not going to smoke a cigarette. I just want to see a female who is. And I mean, I don't think that's a bad impulse. But anyway, I ended up watching. I just went on YouTube, and like it was just like Matt Fradd talking about Taylor Marshall, so it was like Catholic stuff. But I just enjoyed the break, and I wouldn't have cared if I had looked at porn. I just like what am I gonna do, right? I look at porn.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but I can't really do that, so it's kind of like I'd have to end up coming to you and saying like, Grace, you and your mother put me in this situation, so either get her on the horn or somebody.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go to the store to get some Zins.
Yes.
Do you want anything?
Do I want anything?
From the store, like a snack or a drink or one of those Subway rolls. Apart from the Zins, I'm already getting Zins.
What's a Subway roll?
Not a Subway roll, a sub. You know, like the Cherise, they have steak.
I really think this is like, I would like to have the type of relationship in which I'm not asked questions like this.
Okay. No, this is good. You were participating in an experiment.
I like that makes me tired.
Okay. Okay.
You know, I trust you. Okay. You know what I like? I'd like to be able to eat when I'm hungry. Ideally, like at fixed times, but like.
Okay.
As far as that goes, like I don't know why I'm being brought into it. Like.
Okay.
I don't know.
Look, I'm just
makes me tired. That makes me tired.
Okay, good to know.
I want to consume pornography even more than I did 5 minutes ago.
Okay. I was sort of saying what chat suggested I say. So I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to take my chat and I'll be back in about 20
It is raining
minutes.
pretty heavily out.
Yeah, that's okay.
Just you know, like I think it's supposed to be very stormy.
Yes, there's a nor'easter.
The store is nearby. I love the
pizza.
I love the pizza. I also love the barbecue place.
Yes.
Well, you know that already, so
I do. Okay, so I'm going to go to the store.
I have experienced today like massive gas problems, which I don't think are explainable
laughing at chat, not you,
from the
sorry.
food I've eaten. But I'm just sitting here like wanting to look at porn and farting when I'm not on like when I'm not on stream with you.
Yeah.
And I just do think that's related to like this stress. It's fine if you laugh at it. I don't care. It's fine.
Well, this is the way you said it. I'm looking at porn and farting.
No, I didn't say looking at porn. I was like wanting to look at porn. I mean, I just think that's a normal response of someone who feels like overstressed and exhausted. It's just like I want to experience relief and pleasure. And like I think it's okay that I say like that's what I want. And like I'm not asking you to do much, but you know, like can it be okay where a guy says like I would love to be left alone and not have you think, oh, he's sitting there like feeling lonely, and I hate to think that he's sitting there looking at pornography, and you know, like don't worry about it. I'm good.
I'm not laughing because I'm saying I would.
And I'm
never
not
do
saying
that.
I'm
I literally
looking at-
do that. I just think it's funny.
I'm not looking at porn. I just want to. And I actually think it's like a healthy, in a certain sense, healthy impulse to say like, you know what I mean? Like, that's why I'm sharing it with you, not to be weird or anything.
Yeah, no,
but
I
just
get
to
that.
say like, so you can have a sense of just like how like exhausted I am and how little you have to do to have me have a better time. And I hear you kind of, you know, like kind of wound up with chat, and like this is my main thing. You are very compelling. You're a very lovely, compelling. You have an interesting history. You can share lots of stuff that's like any person would be like, wow, that's an interesting person. You're a sweetheart. You're obviously oriented towards goodness, truth, and beauty and all that kind of stuff. But like, if you don't think that your audience would also find you compelling, and that I'm the only, but I do still find you compelling, but like it's been a long time of being like, for someone continuously for 23 years told that like I am somehow the key to unlocking something that I really don't think I can do. And I would encourage to find other people to do that with. It's a long, like, it's nice to be needed.
Yeah.
Up to a point.
Yes.
And I'm not trying to insult you at all.
I don't think you are. I honestly don't think you are. So I am gonna go to
I
the
really
store.
just think that like I just really would love for you to like agree with me or attempt to say like these people, even though like a lot of them we don't even know who they are, as a whole would love to take the reins, which you've actually never given me, and I don't want.
Yeah.
And but you have to make the case that you're compelling.
True.
Which I think you are, without having me there. And then saying like I don't give a fuck whether they find me compelling or not. Like it's you.
Yeah.
As far as this aspect of our internet stuff goes, I'd like to find maybe other people who might find me compelling because I have some interesting intellectual thoughts. There may be some overlap, but I think largely that would be a different audience on a different channel. And I'd have to make the case to them. Whether you agree with it or not really wouldn't matter that much.
That's true. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Here's how I would describe it.
If you're going to be
wait, listen.
Poseidon times 10, and I'm going to be I'm going to out Jordan Peterson because he's down for the count currently. So I can swoop in there.
Yeah, there is.
Well, you're not going to do it by getting affirmed from me. I think you could be way bigger than Ice Poseidon as an IRL person and kind of like lead the way to, a lovely, somewhat mature, but also a little bit crazy, beautiful young woman who interacts in this sphere. You're gold. I agree with the fat guy, Wings of Redemption.
Generational
talent. But I've told you that.
Yes.
I've said you're
Doesn't
a
matter
beautiful young woman. You're very
on some
compelling.
level.
I'm on your side, but you got to now make that case to your audience. And if this is going to be your career, that's the task ahead of you.
This is my
and
point.
I don't know what kind of deal, but like you've never really given them the chance.
I agree.
And they have largely responded positively in the sense that they continue to, like, at least some people continue to watch you, and you can go on whatever you want and then leave and then come back and they're still interested. But I don't want it to be, I want you to shift over.
Here's
it's just
what I'm
like the
saying.
weight of your soul. I don't think you can carry it yourself because you're female. But I think you should sit your fucking soul down on them like you've done it to me. And if they hate you and they reject you and no one wants to see it, or they turn you into an OnlyFans whore who's like masturbating like Chungalungus or whatever her name. All the rest
Chungalungus?
of them.
Oh.
Spacey Bracy or whatever.
Brace
like,
face, yeah.
You know, and if
Yeah.
that's what you end up doing, then like, so be it. I don't know. I mean,
I'm an adult.
that's on
No.
you. You know what I mean? Like, I have no fear that you'll end up there, but like, I think
There's
I've
a
done
lot-
my part. And I'd like to just be like, like, isn't it something like that? I don't know.
It's brace face.
I just want to be a fucking asshole, basically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to be a fucking asshole
Yes.
who is like that you think of as a fucking asshole who needs a break. And not because I don't love you or whatever, but I need a fucking break.
Okay.
So go tell other people how much you want to be affirmed, or that you're feeling less nervous, or that you're pissed at your mother, or that your brother is a fucking or whatever. Like, and I've been happy to have those conversations. And also that maybe like, yeah, I just become a compulsive masturbator who's like, you know, dives into like incel MGTOW whatever and ends up, you know, on as a like a gay bear. And just like kind of is like, hey Grace, you know, at like a 3-day what is that drug called? Crystal meth binge.
Poppers? Oh.
With some guy's dick up my ass, and I'm going like, hey, I'm loving it. I'm finally free. And you can go, well, okay, that's where that went. You know what I mean?
Okay. Now I'm going to go to the store and get a pizza, so I'll probably be back at around 4:45. Okay? And I'm going to end the stream here and pick it up on my phone.
You don't go to a store to get a pizza.
I'm going to go to the store, and then I'm going to go get the pizza.
Oh.
Yeah. I didn't say that the right way. So I'll be back around 4:45.
With pizza?
With pizza and Zins. And I'm going to take the
It's
stream
4
over to
already.
my phone. Yeah. So I'll see you then. Okay. Adios. That's amazing that worked. I don't know. I don't think it's like, I think it's like, okay, my brain is coming back or something. Is that how normal people talk to each other? There you go. All right. I'm going to the pizza store. I'm going to take the lasagna out of the toaster. Hang on. Oh. Whoopsie. It only worked because he let you. I've literally never tried. I've never just told my dad what I'm going to do. Like, very rarely. So. Okay. 1 second. Let me load up Streamlabs. Normal people skip to that part immediately and don't think about it. Well, the more you know. All right. Stay on Kick or go to Kick if you're on YouTube. I'm going to go live on my phone in 3 seconds. Bye.